This is Darren DePaul. You may or may not know me as a voice in some video games you may or may not be playing. And right now, you may or may not be listening to The Gaming Outsider. Roll the theme song. There may or may not be a theme song.
Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 288 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It is Monday, March 30th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and I'm joined, as always, by my fellow co-host, a guy who finally has a good excuse to talk about Nier, Mr. Zack Parkerson.
Yeah, you can't stop me now, Scott.
I know. I've been trying every week to keep you from talking about Nier, but now it's in the news, so we have to talk about it. Are you excited?
Of course, yeah. I mean, obviously.
I know.
This is when I come alive.
It was really funny because I had the format all typed up and ready to go, and Zach texted me and it says, "Hey, we need to add that Nier news in there." I was like, "Yeah, I know, man." And then an hour or two went by, and he's like, "Just want to let you know, I went ahead and put that Nier news in the format for you." Yeah. I was like, "Okay, man."
I couldn't take any chances, man.
Yeah, I know. We were going to talk about it, man. It's all good, but. Well, unfortunately, Chris Behrensmeyer is not able to be with us. He is literally on an ambulance right now on his way to an undisclosed location to help with some relief efforts. So he's actually going to be out for at least 2 weeks, if not more. And we wish him all the best and wish him safety because, not going to lie, man, I'm a little freaked out about him going to a proverbial hot zone. Is that the right word, proverbial, Zach?
No, I think it's actually just a hot zone. I don't think there's
just a hot zone?
Proverbial thing about it.
Okay. So Chris will not be here, but we've got a very special guest from the community. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the Gaming Outsider podcast my birthday buddy from the Gaming Outsider, Mr. CJ Moore. What's up, man?
Hey, yeah, we are birthday buddies. I'm excited to be on the episode to talk about Nier. I tried Nier once on a small patch of arm hair, and I decided it's better to have arm hair than chemical burns. Oh, it's Nair. Oh.
Yeah, that's Nair. Nier is a completely different animal.
You sure?
Almost as painful.
Whoa, okay. Because you couldn't persevere and finish it, Scott. It's not the game's fault.
I feel like it's too late now. I feel like I'd have to start all over, but that's kind of my MO anyway, right? So, CJ, this is your first time on the episode. Every time we have a guest on the episode, well, just tell us about yourself.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I feel so insignificant compared to you guys. You know, Bill Murray famously tweeted that every Olympic event should have an average person competing, just for reference, and I feel like that guy. I'm the middle schooler with asthma on the track with Usain Bolt. So.
No, that's me, man. I'm the average guy. Trust me.
Oh, it's not Rocket League, Scott.
Yeah. I think when I started the Hollywood Outsider with Aaron, he said that I was referred to as the everyman. I'm not the guy that watched a ton of movies. I'm just the everyman that represents people that just watch whatever. And I was like, I didn't know how to take that is that a compliment or not. But anyway,
I don't know. I'm not sure if anything coming from Aaron is a compliment.
Ooh.
I hope he hears that. So I'm going to drop a surprise question on you, CJ, because I did not put this in the format. But if you've listened to our past catalog, you may have heard me ask this question to guests. What are your top 3 favorite video games of all time? If you had to choose just 3, what would those games be?
No pressure.
I really enjoy Fable. If there was a lot more to Fable 1, I remember when they released they had to release some DLC for some extra islands for Fable 1, and that was like the best day of my life because Fable 2 didn't really quite cut it, and Fable 3 was awesome, but you know.
Is that the Lost Chapters?
I think so. Yeah, Fable Lost Chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Briar you got Rose. To go to a whole different area and do more quests. But yeah, that would be in the top 3. I'm not going to put these in order.
Well, hey, real quick before you go on, I just saw that Fable Anniversary is free on Xbox Live right now.
Oh yeah,
what?
It's on my Xbox. I haven't cracked it open yet, but it's on there.
Well, that's going to download for sure.
I'm so
No, if
excited
you're
for
a
the
gold
Series
member.
X solid state drive for all these games. But
Yeah. All right. So what's your number 2?
number 2, RuneScape is a bad disease that I've never shaken. Ooh, hot topic. But RuneScape is a game that I've played off and on for, gosh, since elementary school. I have like 16 years in the game, and I just keep coming back to it for some reason. People would describe it as the watered down World of Warcraft, but something about RuneScape that keeps me coming back for more.
Nice.
Oh, man. Every birthday and Christmas, I get my brother Brandon RuneScape gift cards for
You
about
can get that
15
membership.
years. Yeah.
Man, membership's gone so high up in cost since I started. It was $5 a month when I was in middle school. Now it's like 15.
Worth every penny.
Good birthday gift though.
Chop down those trees.
If you want to know when my birthday is, ask Scott.
There you go.
So yeah, number three would have to be Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, this is my dude right here.
It's been a long time since the game's like just opened with excitement enough to keep me through the whole game. And yeah, everything on that game was just exciting. I want 100% it, but there's so much I have to do before that.
That's a good one 100%. That platinum was fun.
You know, here's what's interesting about Zack. Speaking of Jedi Fallen Order, is since Zack has been on the podcast, he's had 2 games that have become his favorite game of all time.
Uh-huh.
Within like the last 2 years, like that pedestal has been ousted by 2 different games since he's been on this show. So I'm really curious to see what the rest of 2020 is going to bring.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for Zack. I wish games, still excited me like that, where I'd have a new favorite game every 6 months.
Let me tell you, I regret one. Okay, let me tell you that.
You regret Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. I was very much caught up in the nostalgia, childhood hype on that.
Well, it was a good game, though.
No, of course it was great. I don't regret the score I gave it.
Mm-hmm.
Just coming out, guns blazing, favorite game. Might have been a little quick on the draw. That's all.
It was a pretty solid game. I mean, it was a perfect game for you. It struck all the right chords for you. I don't see any fault in that.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Yeah,
always
I'm
in my
not
corner.
knocking you. I just think I just found it very interesting. Is all. I wasn't criticizing you for it.
Fallen Order, though.
Yeah,
love that Fallen Order.
Well, anyway, CJ, thanks so much for being here. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into the week's news. First thing on the docket is our Nintendo Direct that came out this past week. It was on March 26th. Lots of interesting news. I don't want to read through this whole thing, so I just want to ask you guys, from everything that took place in the Direct, what stands out to you the most?
BioShock. I would say BioShock Trilogy.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's just something weird about seeing BioShock on a Nintendo platform. It really caught my eye.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it took this long for BioShock to make it there, because everything is coming to Switch now. And I feel like games that are more intensive than the BioShock games have made it to Switch already, so why is it taking so long? Happy for it.
When I think of Nintendo, I don't think of artsy games like BioShock. I think of, fun gameplay. So I'm happy more places play BioShock. That game is incredible.
Yeah. I don't know that I would play it on a Switch, though, honestly. If I'm going to play it, I'm just going to play it on my Xbox or PS4, whichever. It's already there.
Right.
I think that's one I'd want to play in my hands. That's one I want to be under the blankets with, and yeah.
You play Switch under the blanket?
I play games that my kids shouldn't be watching me play under the blankets, and BioShock's kind of a scary one.
Such a good series. Anything stand out to you there, CJ?
Burnout Paradise. Am I looking at the right list?
Mm-hmm.
Burnout Paradise. I'd rather have Burnout 3, but Burnout Paradise was a really fun game.
Thank you for saying that. We keep getting Burnout Paradise remastered, and I tried playing that game, and it just did not have the same flavor as Burnout 3 to me.
No, Burnout 3 was so fun. I loved the game in Burnout 3 where you get to just like drive a fire truck into like a bunch of cars and try to cause as much monetary damage as you could, and it gives you a score based on that. And there wasn't any of that in Burnout Paradise, so But yeah, Burnout Paradise is still a fun racing game. Love the takedowns and all that fun stuff.
And see, Zach, you said that you were surprised to see BioShock on a Nintendo platform. I was more surprised to see that Borderlands is coming, which is, the Legendary Collection. Those are games that if you had asked me 5-6 years ago if those games were going to be on a Nintendo platform, I would have laughed at you. We've talked about this in the past, how it seems like Nintendo is going the mature rated way and Sony is going the other way, like censoring all their stuff.
Nintendo is running scared. I guess I was less surprised to see Borderlands because Borderlands 2 is on Borderlands 2 is on the Vita. Like it's everywhere.
Yeah. It's on PSVR.
I forgot that.
Yeah. I'm surprised that neither of you mentioned Panzer Dragoon remake. Is it Panzer Dragoon?
The tank game?
Everybody on Twitter is freaking out about that game coming. Like, how much does it cost? I need to buy it right now. Now, granted, I did not get into those games, but
I've always wanted to play Panzer Dragoon and have not had the chance. So I am excited for the remake. And it's I know it's $25 in case anyone's curious. But I was talking to a few people on Twitter and they all say it's pretty rough.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, which is also, it's like a 3-hour on-rail game. I don't understand how you could release a buggy, laggy version of that.
Yeah. It looks like Star Fox with dragons. Am I understanding that right?
From my understanding, you are correct. There is one you can play on Xbox One, Panzer Dragoon Orta. Maybe I should just do that.
Just play the one on Xbox?
Yeah, it's like $5 on backwards compatibility.
And then also Jedi Knight Academy, which that's an Xbox original game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Xbox and PS2?
That's original Xbox.
In
I
PC,
loved that game. I played the crap out of Jedi Academy. I still go back and replay it just because it felt like the skill trees were so satisfying in that. They were very simple. They have light side, dark side, neutral, force powers. But I love a game where I can heal myself with the force, but I can also throw my lightsaber and force choke people out. It's not exclusive to either side of the force. And I'm definitely going to pick that up for the Switch and play that probably under my
I think
blanket.
I actually played it on Xbox because it's backwards compatible, and I think they gave it away.
They did.
With games with gold, didn't they? And I made it about an hour and a half, and I was like, it was one that's it's too far past for me.
Sure.
I, much like CJ, have very many fond memories. I used to play this with my buddy in middle school and high school. We do like the role-playing servers and stuff. So a lot of good memories. I downloaded it right away. I have not played it yet, but I am jazzed to do so.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to stand in line and get coffee with me in Jedi Academy, Zach, I'll be down.
You remember the story. My understanding, I'm hearing it has crossplay, so use that
That's
PS4
exciting.
and play on Switch. That'd be great.
You already have it on Xbox. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We're also got a demo available for Bravely Default 2. There's an update for Ring Fit Adventure, which, by the way, Ring Fit Adventure has just shot up in price because everybody's locked indoors and needs something to do for exercise.
I bet.
So I think it was going for like $300 on eBay last time I checked, which
Whoa.
is It's an $80 game, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Also, other ports coming. XCOM 2 is coming to the Switch.
Oh, you know
as
what,
well
man?
as-
Sorry. I just hadn't really
Go
thought
ahead.
about how great XCOM 2 would be portably.
Yeah,
Like
that's
a turn-based tactics game like that? Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I tried really hard to get into the original XCOM. I couldn't.
I love-
I remember I got it on a deal at release for $25, which was like $35 off the price, and I was super stoked because everyone just kept talking about XCOM. I could not get into it. I tried so hard. So
I love
playing 2.
I love that first reboot, XCOM, but something about XCOM 2 always seemed intimidating, but this might be the right time.
Mm.
Pick it up.
And also Saints Row 4 Reelected, another one, a Saints Row game on the Switch. Wow.
I think
Crazy
Saints Row
world we
the
live in.
Third already is on Switch.
True. You're right. So I'm just
You skip-
retroactively.
You skipped right over Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Well, yeah, I was saving that one for last because that's not really a port. That's already
It's a Nintendo.
is it, or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is on Switch, right? Was the original
Right.
on the Wii? Okay, so it is a port.
And then-
all right.
And then there was an interquel on Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles X. So maybe we'll get that next.
Okay. All right. Also, they showed off Minecraft Dungeons. We had a tease for a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter, which looks to be a character from ARMS, which is a game that I feel like nobody is playing anymore, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, there wasn't enough Super Smash Brothers characters, so I'm glad they're adding more, because, the 58 of them wasn't enough.
Well, at least this one doesn't have a sword, I guess.
That's good.
That's true. They had all those, what's that game? Like Marth and all that. Fire Emblem, all those Fire Emblem characters.
19 Fire Emblem characters in the game.
And there's also a seasonal event announced for Animal Crossing New Horizons, which, can we talk about Animal Crossing for just a second? Because I feel so left out that I have no interest in in Animal Crossing. And I'm not speaking ill of the people that love this game. Because everybody that is into this game is just having an absolute blast. Everything that I'm seeing on Twitter, people are just geeking out about stuff, and I just cannot get excited about that game.
I couldn't sell you on it. I looked at the trailers. I watched some gameplay. It just looks like a really addicting mobile phone game, and it's not one I would pay $60 for. I'm tempted to get it for my wife, just so she has something to play. She's expressed interest.
Would it be fair to call it a microtransaction-less mobile game on a Switch? Because I mean, that's what, when you say mobile game, there's always that wall that you have to hit, or something that you're constantly wanting to pump more money into it to be able to advance or whatever. But this one is you just do it as long as you want to, and that's it.
Yeah, but how long until they release the content that you have to pay $12 for, and you get exclusive outfits, and you can do extra skills, and who knows?
And to be clear, I am not knocking the people that like this game. I genuinely feel left out. I keep entering all these Twitter contests that are giving away copies of it because I want to try it, but I don't want to pay $60 for it and be disappointed in myself. Because I actually tried New Leaf. Was that the 3DS one?
Right.
And yes. I played it for a good amount of time. Really gave it a fair shot, but I just had to give it up because it felt like Chores the video game to me. And
I have heard from the Animal Crossing people I know in my life, and there are too many of them, but New Leaf is apparently kind of the weak link from what my understanding.
Oh, really?
That's what I feel like I hear.
See, that makes me want to try it even more now, man.
Not to stoke the flames of your desire.
I know. I have plenty of stuff to play. I don't need another game to play right now, especially with what's coming on the horizon here.
I did wish that mobile Animal Crossing game was like an actual Animal Crossing game, because that seems like the perfect place for me, because you're supposed to go in, do your chores for 20-30 minutes and then wait till the next day.
Yeah.
Right.
Seems perfect for phones.
Right.
And it seems weird that I am complaining about not wanting to play that when I play these microtransaction phone games that I go in and I do my 20-30 minutes a day. You know what I mean? So I'm like a hypocrite. I totally get it.
How many of those mobile games are you paying $60 for?
True.
Right, yeah, what do you put on, like $10 on Soul Guard? I mean,
I think I've put a total of $10 in that game, and I've been playing it for, 2 years?
Yeah, I was going to say, at least a year and a half.
Yeah, I think...
so I say you got your $10
closer
worth.
to 2. Yeah, and I keep thinking about doing it more, but now I'm like on a mission, just because I'm still going. I might as well just see how far I can get without paying all this money. But
you play on iPhone, is that right, Scott?
I do, yes.
I'm not sure what the options are for iPhones, but there's a really good app called Google Rewards where it sends you just surveys, little 10-second surveys, and then it just dukes you 12 cents or 25 cents or 50 cents depending on the survey. And it's great because it's Play Store credit for the Google Play Store, and you can spend it on any mobile application you want. So I have tons of apps that I would never in a million years pay $1 for, but I paid them just to get rid of the ads because I had that credit. Because I have a Google phone.
I don't.
I can't see Apple doing anything like that.
No.
Probably
Steve Jobs would flip in his grave.
A couple other things they mentioned at this Direct. Pokemon Sword and Shield got an expansion pass. And then Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is coming to Switch.
Yeah, buddy.
Is this something everybody wants? Because I don't remember loving that game.
Kind of, yeah.
That game was dope.
Racing, man. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Now, I played the pod racing game in arcade, which was basically 2 sticks one you push them both forward to go forward, and then you turn by like lowering the throttle on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is on the 60? Because this was a 64 game, wasn't it?
It was.
So how did that work?
What do you mean? Well, I don't know. You press the Z button to go. I think I remember that. That's about it.
So it wasn't two things. It wasn't like tank tread controls.
I don't think it's similar to the arcade game, but it was fun as hell.
Yeah, that arcade game, we used to go and we would Sebulba the races, where we would get on our hands and we'd use our feet to press forward.
Oh my god!
The arcade guys didn't like that, but it was fun.
You would Sebulba awesome. The game. That's hilarious.
Sebulba.
No, I got it. I'm like, did you take your shoes off or did you?
No, ooh, gross.
Yeah,
I don't know if our shoes were any cleaner, but we were much younger then and smaller.
And it was a pre-COVID world.
Yes,
that too. I had one other piece of Nintendo news as well that was not in the Direct, but this actually dropped today. It looks like Nintendo may be planning to remaster the entire Mario catalog for the Switch, and on top of that, they may also be developing a new Paper Mario game. Now, this isn't confirmed. We haven't heard directly from Nintendo, but it came from a pretty reliable source on the internet. I am really excited about this. I know that we get remasters all the time of everything, but some of these games I would love to replay over again. I just got done replaying Super Mario RPG, and I was mad that it wasn't available on the Switch. If that comes to the Switch, I'm going to be super stoked. I want to replay the Galaxy games on the Switch.
Yeah,
although that might be hard.
Well, the only thing you use a Wiimote for was like twirling in the stars and then collecting the bits, right?
That's true. So
you could do button press for that, and I guess I don't know about the bits, but I don't really care.
You want to talk about some of the most incredible level design in Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2. Just ingenious stuff going on in those games. I would love to replay those though.
Yeah, I think first Galaxy is probably my first favorite Mario game.
Yeah, I think 2 might have it beat. I actually did the whole 120 stars on both of those games.
I remember Galaxy 2 being quite a bit harder. I remember that.
Yes. There is a level at the end of Galaxy 2 where it's like a Qbert level where you have to jump on the tiles to make them flip over to a different color, and you have to hit every one and jump across and make it through the entire thing that way. I must have played that thing about 75 times before I finally got it, and it was very, very satisfying, but it was hard. It was very, very tough, and I would love to replay those games. So I don't have a Wii anymore. So, any other Mario games you'd like to replay besides those?
Paper Mario, that's the JRPG one that everybody likes, right?
Yes, there's actually quite a few of them. There's Paper Mario, then Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door.
Are they going to have all of them for the remakes?
It's still, we don't really know for sure.
We don't really know. It's a rumor.
We're hearing this from journalists, not necessarily from Nintendo themselves, but it is Mario's 35th anniversary coming up, so it would kind of make sense. Remember when the 25th anniversary happened and they did that release on the Wii, where they had all the Mario games. I'm not every single one, but it was the originals and then a couple of the new ones. It was a collector's item. I've been wondering why some of these games haven't been on the Switch to begin with. If they ported Mario 3D World over to the Switch, I feel like that game, not a lot of people played that because it was only on the Wii U.
Right.
And that was a great game. Put it on there, it'll feel like a brand new Mario game to a lot of people. Yeah,
I'm excited to play through a lot of these titles. I'm not a Nintendo guy. I got a Switch for free from a rewards program through a supplier from work, and nice. I've had it this year, and that's it. But I've gone through all the Nintendo, the N64 catalog that they have, and played through the Marios. So I'd be really interested in some of these remakes.
Plus, it would just be nice to have them all in one place. You know what I mean? To just go play whatever Mario game you want to on the Switch.
And available in your hands. It's not really a commitment. You can just pick it up, put it down. You don't have to sit down for 2 hours to play it.
I agree.
You remind yourself how bad Sunshine is?
Well, I actually mentioned this when I posted it on Facebook today. Sunshine is not a terrible game. It had horrible controls in the GameCube, which I found out recently when I went back to replay it with CB at his house. That game does not allow you to invert the camera controls. It makes you spin the camera around with a yellow stick, which nobody wants to do. If you actually made that a traditional modern style control scheme, I would love to replay Mario Sunshine again. I legit like that game at the time. But
all right, I want to replay Mario 64, but I want it to be like a Spyro remake.
yes, yeah, that's a really good point, man.
Make that
another
thing
great
pretty.
design game. Mm-hmm.
Spyro remake. What was so great about the Spyro remake?
That it was the exact same game. They just upgraded the graphics and the sounds and stuff. So that's what I want. Mario 64 shot for shot remade. I just want it to look as good as Odyssey.
Okay.
That's all.
That's
I don't
what I
want you to
want as
touch it. I don't want you to touch anything else about it.
Do it. I'm down. Oh, man, when the first time you got those wings on your hat, that was a glorious feeling when I was a kid. That was great.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Metal Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he was so
My
cool.
son really likes Metal Mario. If we play Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, he's got to be. And he gets mad when his sister gets Metal Mario. He'll yell at her.
That's how he is.
Go
She's
figure.
doing that on purpose, man.
Yeah, she is.
Our next story comes from Epic Games. They're launching a new multi-platform publishing label. And if that's not interesting enough, they actually have new partners for that, including Remedy Entertainment, known for games like Control and some others that Zack loves a lot. Max Payne, right?
Oh, yeah. Max Payne, Alan Wake, Control, Quantum Break.
Quantum Break, yeah. Also, developer Play Dead, who is known for games like Inside and Limbo. And then Gen Design, who created The Last Guardian, as well as Ico and Shadows of the Colossus. So they're all teaming up with Epic. And basically, Epic is trying to put the developer first with this partnership. So they're giving full creative ownership to the developers, giving them 100% of the IP rights and total creative control. That's huge. They're going to have as much as 100% of the development costs, including employee salaries. That's going to be on Epic. And then after everything is paid off, then they split the profits 50-50 with the developer. And what the CEO said was that they're building, I'll quote Tim Sweeney here, "We're building the publishing model we always wanted for ourselves when we worked with publishers." I thought this was really interesting news and a great take, even though a lot of people are kind of not happy with Epic right now. But what did you guys think of this news?
I think Tim Sweeney keeps putting his money where his mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's incredibly refreshing. It's also, now his company is more on top of the world than ever before. And instead of you hearing like shady things, it is, no, we're going to build a store that gives more money to the developers. We're going to build a publishing model that's all about the developers. I think I don't see how this is bad in any way, but I'm sure people will find a way.
Yeah. CJ?
Splitting costs 50-50, I mean, that's extremely generous. That's something you don't see a lot in capitalistic America. That's
No, they're not splitting the costs. Epic is going to pay the costs.
I misspoke. Yeah, they're splitting the profits 50-50 once they've recouped their costs. And yeah, that's something that you don't see with big corporations. I mean, big game developers. That's amazing. Yeah, more power to them.
Here's the question I have, and I know that this is why a lot of people don't like Epic right now, is they make things exclusive to the Epic platform, which I genuinely still don't understand why that's a problem. I cannot
wrap my head around this, man. It's been a year?
I'm with you. But does that mean like Control 2 on PC will be exclusive to Epic? Will whatever comes from Play Dead or whatever comes from Gen Design, will these games on PC be exclusive to the Epic Game Store? And will these games still come to console? They have to still come to console, right?
Well, if the developers have full creative control, I would assume it's their call.
Is that what creative control means? I thought creative control meant like what actually goes on in the game.
No, it is, but also like if whatever you're building, it is important that it be a PC game, like say a real-time strategy game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can't see Epic forcing you to go to console. But I think if you wanted to go to console, I mean, Fortnite's on console. They obviously know you can make money there.
That's true. Very true. It's also a microtransaction-based game, though, too.
I mean, hey, they're using the money for good.
Apparently.
Letting Remedy keep making games.
That just felt like really huge news to me, especially because of the success of Control. It didn't. I mean, no, actually, it didn't do well, did it?
No, it didn't even chart in the top. I think it charted like
That's
40
right.
in its debut week, which is really bad.
So maybe this will be the time for Remedy to shine and really get their name out in front of people? because they're gonna have Epic behind them. That could be interesting.
Right. Well, and if it's all about, the 50-50 profit, maybe they can finally make some money. I think they've been floating on the Max Payne money all these years.
Is that what it is?
That's what it feels like. They haven't had a hit since Max Payne 1.
I don't know why Control wasn't a hit. I feel like everybody that I talked to about games played Control and loved Control.
Right,
Just
but we're not.
No mass appeal.
We're not Joe and Jane walking into GameStop, though.
That's true. We're not buying Madden and Call of Duty.
Right.
All right, Zach. The time has come. This is your time to shine. I'm just going to let you take over because I know you want to talk about this news. So
No? You don't want me to intro the Nier stuff?
No. Zach has got to do this because I got to take a nap.
I almost feel, oh, wow. I was going to say, I almost feel bad. Yeah, Scott, you always run out of the news. Well, hey, there's a bunch of Nier stuff, so I guess if you don't like hearing that, I don't know, fast forward, 5-7 minutes probably?
18 minutes.
But as we've been thinking, the original Nier is getting remastered for PS4, Xbox One, and PC as Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139.
What is that? Is that number relevant to something in the game, or are they just being weird?
It's 1/4 of a way through the second version of the game.
That is accurate. Yes, thank you, CJ, for weighing in. No, I'm sure you'll find, if you look deep enough in the game's lore, I'm sure you'll find out why it matters after you play it, because they are adding new scenes. Right at the top, they described it as a version up, similar to your Spyros and your Crashes, where it'll be almost the same game. It'll just look real pretty,
right?
Which is a little bit unfortunate. I hope they touch up the combat, because the combat in the first Nier is iffy. It's like Dynasty Warriors.
You're really selling me on playing your favorite game of all time.
It's still the best story ever told, Scott. But there will be new scenes. They also hinted towards a possible new ending, which would be good because there was a fifth ending to the game that was only in a book in Japan, so that'd be nice to see. All the dialogue is going to be voiced because it was not the case in the original game. It's just, like when you talk to townspeople, it's just text. And they're doing a full re-recording of all the dialogue, which is nice. The English cast has not been announced, which is important to me because those voices sure mean a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
So so it's a little bit unfortunate. Like, I can't be as excited as I want to be because there are two versions of the original Nier. There's Replicant and there's Gestalt. And Japan got Replicant and America got Gestalt. And the difference is, in Replicant, you play, in either game you're trying to save a little girl. In Replicant, you're playing as a brother. In Gestalt, you're playing as a father. So the version that most people are going to play now is this version with the brother, which I've never played because it's only in Japanese. But I'm so attached to the version of the story where you play as the father, and we're not getting that remastered, and that's a bummer.
Now, there was an analogy you texted me when this news first dropped. You said, imagine if they were remaking Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite games.
Oh, yeah, I was like, it would be as if they remade Ocarina of Time for modern consoles, and they weren't touching anything with the graphics, but then they put Fox McCloud in the starring role.
It's that's jarring of a difference for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, so especially with how attached I am to the story. Like, I've always wanted to see the brother version of it, so that's cool. But I just don't understand why you wouldn't do both.
Yeah.
Nier Automata, as they announced here as well, has that 4.5 million copies sold. So why would you just not do both versions? Strange to me.
DLC?
Seems like an oversight. It'd be also like if they remade Resident Evil 2, but they're like, but only Leon's campaign. Can't play as Claire.
Yeah.
That would be so weird. That would be like, weird. Why wouldn't you? You already have.
So
it's 95% the same game. There's just some dialogue changes and a character model.
You're gonna make me play this game, aren't you?
I mean, it's really good.
How's the mobile game?
There is, yes. Also, Yoko Taro's next project is Nier Reincarnation, coming to iOS and Android. I'm stoked. I don't care. I'll play a Nier game on my phone every day.
Any idea what it is, or
no? They just put up a teaser trailer with a character we haven't seen before in the universe, and a bunch of slow, sad music over some concept art. It was all very Nier, but I mean, it's being helmed by Yoko Taro himself, so that's pretty cool. Which would also mean it's going to be canon for show.
Nothing gets me wanting to play a game more than slow, sad music.
Yeah.
Remember that time you all...
You have no idea what the
I
mobile
can't-
game is? Do you hope it's more of a combat game, or do you hope it's more of a narrative-driven?
Well, he also did another mobile game called Alice, which is also coming to America in June. And I mean, it was mostly I wanted to just mostly be an excuse to get some story. Yeah, do like a daily grind kind of thing just to get more narrative. That's fine by me. But yeah,
Hey, Zach, remember
there's-
that time you almost got to meet Yoko Taro?
Yeah. Remember that I was like, it'll be okay because I'll get to meet him. You know, I could go to the concert, so I'll meet him at E3 because surely they'll talk about the new Nier there.
Oh,
And
wait.
that was also taken away from me.
Yeah.
So that's dope. Thanks for rubbing that in, Scott.
You're welcome.
But to anybody who wanted to play Nier Automata, you're out of excuses because the Become as Gods edition is coming to Game Pass on April 2nd.
Hey.
Sure is.
I
I already
might
own
play
it. So, I'm good.
Don't play it. And also, there's new Nier merch in the Square Enix store. Get out in there. A lot of Nier
I'll
talk.
Isn't there
do
like
that too.
Did you guys see there's like a Square Enix like rewards program that they were hinting at today? Or they were asking people on Twitter how they would feel about a rewards program? I don't know the details, but I saw a tweet about it.
They've had one on their store for ages.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Always get the
Maybe they're-
lanyards.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Is it rewards? Is
sweet
it rewards
two-
for buying merch, or is it rewards for buying games, or both?
Both.
Mm.
Yeah. And you can use your points to get like art books or little, a coaster or something.
Sweet.
Or a cloud on a motorcycle.
No,
Whoa.
you're not going to get that
No.
off your rewards. Absolutely
I
not.
get a 12-inch
You can get
statue of.
Probably get like
Exactly.
a-
characters.
I got one.
You bought that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh my god, man! Are you feeling okay?
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling a little sick. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. I think I might. We have a listener that wants it really badly. I might let him take it because it's a lot of money.
$330, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Sheesh, man.
It drained my DJ money. I am out of out of DJ money. So I may
you're
have
pretty
to.
excited about that game, man.
The
Well, I
statue
just
have
really-
coronavirus on it?
Wow, don't be that guy.
I don't know.
I am very excited about that game, and I really just want that bike. I just wish it didn't cost $330, but people are paying for it. I'm one of them.
I was
So
say,
that's why it's that
imagine,
much.
I mean, Scott, if you hold on to that, keep it in the box, and you wait to sell it until they wrap up all the Final Fantasy VII remake, probably make a mint.
God. Yeah, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, because that was a thought as well. Just keep it in a box and put it on my shelf and see what happens.
Woody says
That's what I'm gonna do with the
toys are meant
Amico
to be
to-
played with.
I know, you sound like my wife now. You have all these games on the shelf and you're not even playing them. They just sit there. I'm like, yeah, I know. I love it.
It's a collectible. You don't
That's what I
understand.
love, honey.
It drives her crazy, though. I have all these games. I've got one that we talked about it already. My copy of the Flintstones game that I paid way
Oh,
too much money
brother.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the week's news. Zach, thanks for cluing us in on all that Nier news. But for everybody else listening out there, you know what? We are an independently funded podcast, which means that we must pay for our podcast hosting services and our website all on our own, which is why we have a Patreon page where fans do have the option to contribute monthly to help us offset the cost of production, as well as give something back to the community. So if you'd like to help out, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. We've got some new episodes coming up for you. I actually just recorded them. They will be published hopefully by the time you hear this episode. I sat down with Zack. Just the two of us sat and chatted about Super Mario RPG, which I just talked about, and that was quite a good conversation, man. I really enjoyed just sitting down and chatting with you, man. And then also I sat down with Christina and Nate, who both got to play the original God of War for the first time, and that was an interesting experience. We didn't realize until about 3/4 of the way through the episode that Nate had played the original on PS2, and Christina had played the collection off of PlayStation Now, which was the PS3 version. And I never realized, but they cut a certain portion of the original game out of the collection that she never saw.
Talk about the threesome minigame?
Yeah, completely
Original-
removed from the
what?
game. Yeah,
Whoa.
You need it
gotta
for that
hear.
health boost.
You got to hear the episode, man. It was pretty hilarious when we had that realization, because then we had her pull up the video and watch the scene,
And watch the vase break.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Wow.
So
That's another one I'd have to play under the blankets.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
I was gonna say the Vita ports of those games are remarkable.
They're such good games. I mean,
For the four people out there using their Vita.
Let me tell you guys, nothing has made me go buy games more than listening to Break the Seal episodes and Retro Outsider episodes. I now have all the Dead Space ones. I
Oh
can't
my
play them
God.
when my wife's around because she thinks it's scary and not in a good way. But I'm having a good time killing some mutated freak
Necromorphs.
is that what they're called? I keep wanting to call them xenomorphs, but I know that's aliens. But yeah, I'll have to pick up God of War too after listening to that episode. Can't wait for that.
Awesome. Glad you're digging Dead Space, man. That's such a great series. We talk about that one quite a bit. Well, anyway, if either of those episodes sound good, be sure to, again, check out patreon.com/thegocast. Your $3 a month subscription gets you access to those, as well as our entire back catalog of bonus episodes that we do, including, like we mentioned, Break the Seal, Retro Outsider, our legacy episodes where we talk about some series that has meant something to the industry, and also games that aren't for us. We haven't done one of those in a while, and I'm not sure when we're going to do one of those because CB is going to be out of commission for a little while, but we definitely need to do one of those in the near future as well. So again, really do appreciate the help. And also, before we head on to our From the Outside In topic, we're doing something a little bit different this week for this month for our game giveaway. So, as everybody knows, we do a game giveaway once a month, and this month we are giving away a copy of Resident Evil 3 Remake on PS4. So if you are interested in Resident Evil 3 Remake on PS4, we've actually got the copy ordered. It's being sent to Zack, who's going to play the game for us for review, and then once he's done with it, he's going to send it off to one lucky winner. And good news for you guys, we heard that the game is only about 6 or 7 hours long, so Zack will have that done in a Friday night, probably.
Right, and then for your benefit, listener, it also has a huge multiplayer mode. You get plenty for your victory.
Absolutely. But we're doing something a little bit different. We're not going to just give the game out willy-nilly. We're trying to get people to listen to the episode a little bit more often. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a passphrase that you will need to enter on the form in order to get qualified for the drawing. So when I post the Google form and it asks you for the passphrase for Resident Evil 3, you'll need to enter the word Kennedy, Kennedy. And then I will filter through and find all the correct answers that have the passphrase, and those people will be entered into the drawing. So again, the word is Kennedy, Kennedy, and I'll have that up by the time this episode airs so that everybody can enter. Does that make sense?
I get to pick next week's code word. Banana
You get to
hammock.
No, Scott restricted me to one word.
Oh,
Well,
Kennedy,
that's hyphenated.
as in Leon Scott Kennedy.
it's got a
I
great
like-
middle name.
I got a compulsion. I got to say that full name every time.
I know you do. It's a strange thing. Let's go ahead and move on to our From the Outside In topic. So we let CJ pick the topic this week, and he wanted to talk about, the important people in our lives with whom we've had great experiences playing video games over the years. But there's a lot of just horrible things going on in the world. We figured we could use some positivity. I want to hear some good, feel-good stories. I asked the community for some. They gave some great responses. But I want to start with you guys. CJ, you're our guest, so you get first crack here. What are some feel-good stories that you have with friends and family that involve video games?
I don't have to reach that far back in my memory. Since this whole quarantine thing, since just before this quarantine thing started, we have been selling our house, buying a new house, and we had a baby. And
That's a hell of a time to live life, man.
No kidding. And now we're all stuck under the same roof. I had my mom up here, and that throws in a whole nother level of crazy into my life. But one thing that's just been really, really nice is having my brother up here He's been helping take care of kids, and he's been, watching them when me and my wife have to run out and fight some old lady over 2 rolls of toilet paper. But having my brother at home has given us the opportunity to play a lot of games together. And we sort of played games growing up, but really having him here, and we played through Ori together, pretty much the whole campaign, start to finish. We played Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and going on an emotional roller coaster like that game was with my brother has been something really special. And being able to share that experience with him, and the looks that we give each other when something crazy happens in the game, is a connection that I don't have with anybody else. So that's a real positive experience with video games.
Did you guys finish it?
We did. We finished it, and
how about that ending?
Not the ending I expected at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to tell you all the things I did expect. Going back to high school, though, going through hard times in my family, it was important to me to be at a friend's house a lot of the time. And a friend I had growing up, his name was Lauren, really got me into video games a lot more than I was able to do on my own. He had a lot of systems I didn't really at home. We played Ocarina of Time together on his GameCube, and we played Soul Calibur. We would just button mash each other to death and fight over who was really cheating. But he pulled me through a lot of hard times, and we did it side by side on a couch playing Halo 2 when that was huge. Halo 2. We used to do we'd feel bad. We feel like bums sitting through the house like 36 hours straight, no sleep, playing video games. So we came up with a way to exercise while playing Halo. We would do push-ups. Depending on how many kills we got, we had to do so many
that's
push-ups.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so there was a lot of times we were up at 4 o'clock in the morning chugging game fuel and and doing
game
the push-ups. But have you seen the new cans of game fuel that they have, the tall boys?
No, I
do not like how those cans open.
No, I know, right?
Do not like it.
But you can close it again, and it keeps the carbonation, and I really like that.
You can close it, but I still don't like drinking out of it. Have you seen them, Zach?
No.
Like like how a normal can of pop, like you just pop it and then push the thing back. This one that actually like slides back.
Oh, so, okay, yeah.
And so the mouth where the game fuel comes out is no longer round. It's like this thin slit that just kind of just goes around the bottom edge of the. It is very uncomfortable to drink. I don't know. It doesn't flow out of the can the same way as the regular can does. It drives me
Scott
crazy.
Doesn't get as much as fast as he wants to, because once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, I mean that's Pringles, but
are you still chugging Kickstarts back like they're going out of style, Scott?
I started the new year without doing it, and then the world started on fire, and yeah. I didn't have one today. My wife bought me these V8 energy drinks that are like peach mango or something, and they're like these tiny little cans. They're like smaller than a Red Bull can, and I actually like them. And they've got the same amount of caffeine as a Kickstart, but
okay,
they don't taste
the classic
as good.
Tomato juice V8 flavor.
It doesn't have that tomato flavor, no, but it's got that. It's very prominent fruit because I mean it is, peach mango, whatever.
It's like
I do
the V8
dig them.
Splash with caffeine.
Pretty much. But I just the thing is with those Kickstarts, yes, I like the caffeine. I legitimately love the taste of those things. Scott, it's so refreshing.
Scott, you got me completely hooked when we on the
Kickstarter
trip or whatever. Yeah, I drink them all the time now.
Was that your first time you had Kickstart? Was that E3?
No, I had them before, but there was just something about being around you that I remember. I definitely drank more, and then I got back. I was like, well, might as well keep this going. It was black cherry. It's good flavor.
Black cherry is my favorite. I've been having the grape a lot lately.
Ooh, midnight grape, yes.
Midnight grape. Good. I go back and forth between those two.
You ever have the Black Label?
Oh,
I love the Black Label.
Love Mountain Dew Black Label.
I love it too.
Like craft beer soda.
I have kind of a funny story about Black Label. I'll keep it short.
Right on.
But I was in class. I was in computer class in college, and I was chugging those, and I had jalapeno poppers the night before, and my stomach already didn't feel good, but I needed to stay awake through class, so I got myself a Black Label, and the can is black with green letters all over it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what color I was drinking, but I had some stomach issues in that class, and so I excused myself to go to the restroom and politely hurl my guts out, and it came out dark red.
Oh.
And I was in EMT class at the time, and so I immediately thought, I'm bleeding internally. And so
It was just a Mountain Dew.
I had dialed 911 on my phone, and I was about to call it, because my insides were on fire. But I decided I should check inside the can. It occurred to me that I wasn't sure what color the Mountain Dew was, so I'm glad I did. It saved me a ride to the hospital. Complete idiot.
You've ruined the surprise for me.
I'm sorry.
Now I know what color Black Label is.
I'm sorry. Didn't give you the chance to look for yourself, but I have not had a jalapeno popper since that experience.
I have never liked jalapeno poppers. Oh,
Love them.
speaking of tasty beverages, I know that we can't go to the movie theater right now for obvious reasons, but next time you go to a movie theater and they have one of those Coke machines where like you could pick whatever flavor you want and mix and match and everything. Last time I was there, they had in the corner, I don't know if you guys like raspberry flavor stuff, but I love the flavor of raspberry, like candies, sodas, whatever.
Yeah.
So there was a raspberry logo with a question mark on it. My curiosity is piqued, so I pressed that. And it's like a secret flavor or whatever that they tried in one of these machines. It is cream soda, raspberry cream soda. And I've only ever seen it in those Coke machines.
Did you love it?
It is delicious. And every time since then I've gone to the theater, which obviously I haven't in a few weeks now. I always get the cream soda, raspberry cream soda. It is so good. Highly recommend
intriguing.
it.
Yeah. Welcome to the Soda Podcast.
You guys say?
Yeah. Speaking of any more feel good stories that beat out jalapeno poppers?
No, that's about it. Although my dad, who started, he bought me my first Xbox console, and he bought it because Halo came out, and he really liked the Halo idea of being a all-powerful cyborg beating up people, aliens on other planets. And so he bought us the console. He spent about 30 seconds on it before he had to he literally threw the controller on the ground and said, I don't know if I'm looking at my feet or if I'm looking at the sky. And he walked out of the room and hasn't played video games since. But we got to keep the console, so thanks, Dad.
That's awesome. All right, Zach. Last time we did a feel-good episode, you about damn near made me cry. So, just setting the bar.
Well, okay, no pressure. Well, it's all about friends and family, right? I don't have any of those, so I'm just going to skip. I'm just kidding. I thought I was going to get a reaction out of Scott. He's too busy over there.
I was going to say, I remember that episode where Scott bared his soul about video games growing up, and honestly, it's made me love Scott.
No, that was
Zach.
Zach that bared his
You guys
soul.
Just look so much alike. Yeah, since that episode where Zach bared his soul, I really love Zach because of that.
Wow, thank you. Well, anyway, friends and family. I mean, video games have been such a core part of my life that I feel like I got 100 stories. And, it's hard to like focus in on positive memories because the negative ones always just surface.
Right.
But I mean, there's plenty. Obviously my grandpa, he's the one who taught me to play video games at all. And he made us earn our way through the console generations. But I've told that story a bunch of times. But I remember playing Resident Evil 4 with my best friend Chris when I was growing up. We played it the whole way through in one sitting and immediately started on New Game Plus. That was a lot of fun because we were up for like 36 hours or something just playing Resident Evil 4. Pass the controller. What a good time. What a good game.
I miss Pass the Controller, man, so much. One of my stories has to do Pass the Controller as well.
How do you like to do Pass the Controller, Zach? Is it when you die or is it when you get to the next part of the game?
It's both.
Yeah, whichever comes first.
Resident Evil 4, it was you die or you beat the boss. Yeah, that was fun. I got like a million stories about playing with my brothers growing up. Being, like my little brother Brandon teach me how to play RuneScape, and then I just was like, this game's stupid, and I just left. That was funny. Or
To be fair, that game was stupid.
Yeah, I tell you, it'd be ridiculous if someone kept playing it over a decade.
It would be nonsense.
Yes. One thing I really do love with me and both of my brothers is we would play Fallout 2 all the time, and we'd share one character. But then we would play as them, like, even when other people weren't around. So you just load up the save, and you'd be like, oh, I guess I murdered the entire town here. All right. And it was like such a cool way to, like, a choose your own adventure story. Almost, but it was like your character kept getting amnesia. Going
It's like an out-of-body experience.
It was really fun and something unique.
It's like the hangover in video games. You just wake up.
Yeah. You have the piece of
what the hell?
Fun. You're not wrong.
So many quotes in my head that I can't say from The Hangover right now.
Family-friendly podcast.
Yeah, I try.
My dad was a gamer when he was younger, and then he hadn't played for a long time, and then he wanted to give my 360 a shot, and then became a big gamer after he got introduced to Gears of War. That was a lot of fun because he would. So I bought the 360 for Christmas, and I bought it with Gears of War as Splinter Cell Double Agent. And I remember he was like, "Oh, yeah, you can play Gear. You can play it out on the TV," because he just wanted to see what it looked like. And he's like, "Oh, this looks like fun." And I was like, "Oh, we could actually both play multiplayer on the same console." He's like, "Okay." And then I remember the very first night, I was like, "Oh, it was like 11 or whatever." I was like, "I guess it's bedtime." And he's like, "No, you could stay up. You could stay up." Because he wanted to keep playing.
He was having so much fun.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we stayed up till like 3 a.m. that first night. That was pretty great. And then he just kept. Then my 360 just lived in the living room, and I would just come home and I was like, "Oh, I guess Dad's playing Gears of War." That was fun, and still plays games to this day. And I mean, honestly, I think the most positive gaming experience for me is the Gaming Outsider. Being brought onto the show, and you listen to other video game podcasts, and everyone's negative. It's this 60 FPS shooter goes to 58 frames sometimes. I can't even stand this game.
This game is broken.
It's ridiculous, and it's all anybody wants to talk about our controversies and stuff, and then coming on the show, and in meeting a lot, CB or Chad or Christina, anybody, I guess I gotta name everybody unless I'm going to feel Bob, Chris Owens, everybody.
Nate
was a later addition. I was thinking about that being circled around in Chad's. Yes, and yes, and you're right.
With the Chad crickets.
Basement. Yeah, with the crickets. And it just felt cool because I'd written for the Gaming Outsider before, but I hadn't on the show that often, if at all. And it's just been fun. And you're right, CJ, the community has been great. And just meeting people, interacting with people. R2V2 is insane. Like, I'm doing things that I never thought I would do, throwing a convention, going to E3, all because of the Gaming Outsider. And it's made me, I've like stopped listening to those negative podcasts because the show has kind of reminded me that video games are awesome, and there's always the potential for them to get better, right? Like you mentioned at the top of the show, Fallen Order is a favorite game of all time now, and it came out like 6 months ago, and
September.
So video game, but I feel like if it wasn't for the Gaming Outsider, I would just find the negative in games still. But I'm always looking for the positive now, and interacting with developers and stuff, so you kind of learn about the blood, sweat, and tears poured into these things, and yeah, man, the Gaming Outsider. It's pretty great.
That's awesome, man. So you don't regret it all
suck,
that,
Scott, but the Gaming Outsider's been great.
Scott Clark and the Gaming Outsider.
Of course, yes, Scott Clark and his guests on the Gaming Outsider. Absolutely.
Man, so you don't regret that day I called you up and said, "Hey, that website that you're running?
Oh yes,
you want to just shut that down?"
Good old welovetogame.com, which I still think is a great name, by the way. I still think it's a really good name. But yeah, I left my own venture aside to come on board here, and I'd say it's the right call.
Yeah, I don't regret it at all.
That is a great domain name.
Thank you. Yes, I do not regret it. Still own the domain though. I'll never let it die. Yeah, it's worth the whatever, like $14 a year or whatever to GoDaddy.
Slide over to Google.
You just like forward it on to, like, whenever they go to that, it just takes them to the Gaming Outsider.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I should set that up.
Yeah, have
Anyway,
a
what about
shameless
you,
plug
Scott?
button with Scott's face on it.
Yeah, of course. I want to rename the site We Love to Game with ScottClark.com.
I'm never going to live that down, ever. Ever. All right, so you talked about pass a controller. I got a quick pass a controller story, and this one actually starts out kind of sad, and forgive me if I've told this story in the past, but it meant a lot to me. I had this buddy that we're unfortunately not friends anymore. We had a pretty big falling out several years ago. But Christmas one year, I made the decision because my family lived in Oklahoma at the time, and I made the decision instead of going to Oklahoma to spend Christmas with them that I was going to stay here and have Christmas with my father who lives in Milwaukee. So just, forgot the rest of the family and said, I'm going to spend Christmas with my dad this year. And Christmas morning, my dad calls me up and cancels on me. I'm not making this up. Canceled on me on Christmas morning. And,
I'm sure that didn't hurt at all.
I didn't know it. Well, my dad has, ever since I was a kid, has always had a history of canceling day of for stuff. So I can't say I was surprised. I mean, I was because it was Christmas, right? It was a little bit, it was different. But then I'm now in Rockford. My family's in Oklahoma. It's Christmas morning. What the hell am I going to do? I'm just going to go sit at home and do nothing. So I called up my buddy Mike, who is a staunch anti-Christmas guy. He just despises it. He doesn't like Christmas music. He hates the commercialism behind it.
All the noise.
Yeah, he's very much a Grinch. And so I called him up and like, dude, I don't know what to do. You want to get a burger or something? It's Christmas Day. And he's like, no, dude, just come on over. We'll game it up. So I went over to his house and we sat the entire day, Christmas Day that year, and played games together, passing the controller. I think we played. It was either Super Mario Sunshine, which we were just talking about. It was a mixture of that and SSX Tricky on the GameCube. And just passing the controller. We went through, and I don't know if we did it all that day, but between the two of us, we got all 120 stars or whatever, shinies, I think we called them. And I think at the end you get Yoshi. You find Yoshi hidden at the top of one of the buildings at that game. And I don't know, that meant something to me. I know it wasn't like a huge sacrifice for him, but the fact that Christmas Day and he opens his house to me and just let me pass the controller with him on Christmas Day, it was a pretty cool moment. That meant a lot to me at the time, and wound up being a great Christmas because I was doing what I wanted to do. So outside of that, I remember growing up, I used to game with my brother. My brother didn't game a ton. He wasn't as big of a gamer as I was, but he still liked to play. And one of the games that we liked to play together was Twisted Metal 2. So we played it all the time. Man, we would, because that was co-op, if I remember correctly. You could actually play it together, go up against all the other fighters, or what do you call them, competitors, and then eventually go up against Minion. I don't know if you guys remember the final boss in Twisted Metal 2, but it was pretty sweet. So, and I think I may have told this story as well, and I apologize if I have, but my mom every Christmas would do this thing where she wouldn't let us come downstairs on Christmas morning until it was okay. She was trying to build up the anticipation, right? She was, all right, the tree is so gorgeous, and look at all those presents underneath there. This is amazing. And we're sitting at the top of the stairs as kids, just like, we want to go downstairs, and she wouldn't let us come downstairs. So the year Twisted Metal 2 came out, my brother and I woke up on Christmas Day, and my mom started in on this whole, Christmas is awesome. Look at this. This is amazing. And we're just like, we're going to wait until she says it's okay to come down. We just parked in front of the PlayStation and played Twisted Metal 2 until she finally had to come into the room instead of like shouting up the stairs and saying, all right, it's fine to come down now. She actually had to come into my bedroom, tell us to pause the game and come down for Christmas. That was kind of a funny story for me. My last story is very, very simple. My stepdad didn't game at all. Like, maybe an occasional Tetris. He loved Tetris, but that was pretty much the extent of games that he did. But for whatever reason, GoldenEye on Nintendo 64 clicked with him. And I thought that was especially interesting because he had never played a first-person shooter before. He didn't play Doom. He didn't play Wolfenstein 3D. But because the analog joystick for a first-person shooter was new to me, as well as being new to him, we both learned how to do that together, which I thought was really cool. So I didn't have any advantage over him outside of just, my natural video game skill from playing so much. And he learned alongside with me and became very competitive in GoldenEye. And I just had really good memories of that. And I think that's something that's kind of missing with gaming, is that when you try to introduce somebody that doesn't game a whole lot, it's hard to find a common ground game where you both are learning together. And that was an experience I feel like I won't ever have again, because we don't have new innovations like that anymore. I mean, we've got VR, but is there any other new stuff out there that would kind of even the playing field for new players and seasoned players? Can you guys think of anything?
I don't know about new stuff, but Untitled Goose Game is one that just got my wife for some reason. My wife's not a gamer at all, but she
won
loved
best game by one of the award shows, by the way.
I know, yeah, in the video game awards, and she loved that game. She loved watching that goose go around and wreak havoc on these poor innocent bystanders, and even the end of the game was a huge surprise, and we all got a good laugh about the end of the game. But I can't think of any other game that my wife has actually enjoyed playing.
My wife used to love this game called Poker Smash. Do you guys remember that game on Xbox 360?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's like a match 3 puzzle game, but it had poker mechanics, and that was one of the few games that she would actually play with me, and I stopped playing because I could not beat her. I'm not saying like I couldn't beat her all the time. I could not ever beat her. Whatever patterns she saw, I did not see, and I was so frustrated because I never stood a chance. I just literally did not stand a chance to beat her because she was like a prodigy with this game for some reason, and I never went back to it. I should fire that up again. And master it.
You should play it in secret, and then just say, "Oh, hey, babe, we haven't touched this game in a while," and then got you,
demolish her.
Yeah, you suck. Yeah, she did appreciate that.
Shout out to Chris Owens from the Gaming Outsider team. He actually was in the top 100 for Poker Smash for a while. Now, again, that was years ago. I imagine it's been ousted by now, but he was also ridiculously good at that game. So, well, those are my stories. Let's go ahead and see what the community had to say. We had lots of really good stories, and we're going to start with Facebook, and I'm going to go first, if that's okay with you guys. This one comes from Sean Coates, and here's his story. One story I'll never forget, and it's kind of long, I apologize, but it was when I got my Nintendo 64. It was Christmas of '96, and the N64 was, of course, the hot item of that season, along with Tickle Me Elmos. I didn't realize that Tickle Me Elmos and 64s were the same year, but that's interesting. In the lead up to Christmas Day, when all the gifts were wrapped and ready to go, I noticed a box with my name on it. It was roughly the size of a new console box. I was so confident, I said to my folks, "That's an N64. Might as well let me open it now." They said it wasn't, and to prove it, my dad gave it a decently powerful David Beckham-esque sidekick. That was when I knew it couldn't be it, since I know my dad wouldn't treat electronics like that. Cut to Christmas Day. When it was time to open gifts, I didn't open that box right away. I didn't want my family to know that I've been eyeballing it this whole time. When I finally did, it turned out to be a camping backpack. Needless to say, I was mighty disappointed. But I didn't throw a fit. I wasn't I wasn't like that as a kid. But then, like a scene out of A Christmas Story, my dad pulls out from behind our entertainment center another large box. I open it, and sure enough, it was an N64. Years later, I found out my dad camped out in front of Target several weeks prior to getting me one. That is an awesome story. Like, it's straight up Christmas Story. And the fact that the dad stood in line at Target for that long, that's amazing. That's the kind of stuff.
That is awesome.
If I had a kid, I feel like that's what I would do.
I was expecting it to actually be the the N64 in the original package that he karate kicked. But
yeah, that'd been a mess.
That would have been a mess. But that's what he gets for bugging him about pretending he knows what's in there.
Exactly.
Man, I remember my mom came home from Target like on Christmas, and it was Prince of Persia Warrior Within was in the bag. But she told me to put the stuff. She's like, "Hey, can you unpack these bags?" And Warrior Within was in there. I was like, "Oh, hey, this is my Christmas gift." And she got mad at me. She's like, "Are you stupid?" I was like, "You told me to unpack the bags." And then she still made me wait for Christmas to play the game. And that really
she
that
was
annoyed
mad
me.
at you.
Yes, it was so
How
crazy.
dare you?
Hey,
at least she got you a great game you wanted.
Hey, it was a tremendous game. There's no question.
That was a fun game.
I was messed up that I still had to wait.
So what happened on Christmas? Did she actually wrap it and you had to be like,
Yeah.
Oh, I never expected this.
Well, I didn't play into it. I was like, oh, hey, look. I was like, oh, Warrior Within. Yeah, about time. I guess I was. That was bitter because get me in trouble for asking me to do stuff. But anyway, Kevin Honigford wrote in. Starting to feel like a broken record, but some of my fondest memories are playing in television with my dad when I was a kid. However, the joy of video games has had a great influence with my boys and I. Yes, they have given us so many things to do together. Yes, they have helped develop our abilities to work together to solve problems, but the biggest positive thing that comes out of this is that they help to open up dialogue between the three or two of us. Whether it was a bad day at school, social issues such as bullying, or something important but uncomfortable to talk about, yes, even the sex talk, playing games with them always seems to loosen them and myself up to have a conversation about whatever it is. I simply sit down to play a game with them for an hour or so, and by the time we're done, their emotions have calmed and they are pretty much responsive and perceptive. Most important of all, we have fun.
I love that story.
Yeah, that's what a smart way to ice break with the kids.
That's really good. I'm going to use that when I tell my wife that we need to spend more time playing video games with our son.
That's smart. Yeah.
There you go.
We're going to play Caroline so that he knows about the birds and the bees.
Well, I think I don't know. It actually makes sense, right? Because when you play games with your buddies, you kind of just end up talking about stuff.
Oh yeah.
In the background. Before you know it, you're like, "Oh, I didn't mean to tell you all about my marriage troubles, man." Like, "Oh no, it's cool." That's cool. Smart. Tell me, it's Kevin Honigford's a genius. What I'm saying.
Nice. All right, CJ, you're up.
David Koenig says, my mother was addicted to Frogger on the Atari 2600. She never played any other game ever. I would wonder where she was, and I would find her in the bonus room sitting cross-legged on the floor playing game after game. About 10 years ago, I bought her the Atari joystick with games on it to link to her TV. She played it in her bedroom till the day she passed away. I now have the Atari joystick on a shelf. Getting very dusty in here.
That's a touching story, David. I think it's Koenig, by the way.
Koenig, my bad. Yeah.
And his house had a bonus room.
Yeah.
Bonus room.
What I want to know, what does that mean?
Well, the house that we're looking at buying has a bonus room. They can't call it a bedroom because it doesn't have a closet space and it doesn't have a window. But it's a room that can be used for whatever. They just can't call it a bedroom for selling the house.
Oh, is that like a legit term, like in a house? It's an actual thing, like a bonus room?
Yeah, it's about a bedroom-sized room that can't be called a bedroom.
Oh, that's way less exciting than what I was hoping it was going to be.
You walk through this door into another dimension where there's
We didn't find out
like flashing lights.
We lived in the house 4 years, and all of a sudden we noticed this door. Like, oh, hey, a bonus room.
It's like an escape room. You punch a code in this combination lock on the floor, and then the wall just pops back, and there's a bonus room.
You haven't missed a mortgage payment in 6 months.
Some game show host comes out and says, "Congratulations, you made it
He's
to the
been in it the
bonus
entire
room."
time.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Zach, by the way, I want to do an escape room with you.
Okay, yeah.
When you move back to Rockford, we'll go to Chicago and do an escape room together.
Well, you don't think of that Prince of Persia escape room coming?
Yes, even better.
Yeah, that'd be a fun
I know
one to
you'll
do.
be down for that.
We can talk about it on the Gaming Outsider.
you have to wall run and stab a dagger into a receptacle to get to the next.
Yeah, my dreams are coming true.
And then if you don't get it done in the right amount of time, you go, "Wait a minute, that's not how this went," and then just rewind time and do it all over again.
That'd be good.
All right, moving on to Discord. David Newman says, not much of a story really, but I've had some amazing things happen recently with two very important people. First, my wife, who does not play games, and I can tell she gets annoyed sometimes when I play, bought me a Switch for my birthday. It was a great gift, even if I felt she shouldn't have gotten it for me. Second, since the shutdown, the best man at my wedding, who never used to be a gamer, started playing Warzone and Elder Scrolls Online with me, and another one of my groomsmen. It's really given us a chance to hang out, even though we live far away from each other. That's awesome. I love that
David Newman.
He's a good guy. He's going to be on a Patreon episode, a Legacy episode sometime in, I want to say either April or May. I can't remember which one. I have to look at the schedule, but
awesome.
He's gonna play through all the Uncharted games.
We got to get you to Elder Scrolls Online, Scott.
What's that?
That's going to be a great one for quarantine time. Elder Scrolls Online.
Dude, I tried it. I could
so
not.
Fun. You got to be in a group. You got to be in a party and go around and do the same stuff together. It's a blast. It's 110 gigs to download, but you know.
That's no joke.
No,
that is a large game. Is that a subscription one? Do you have to pay a subscription for that?
For certain things, yeah, for like the extra islands and stuff. I mean, Elsewhere, is that the
Elsewhere?
Yeah, Elsewhere is one of those packages, but I think it was really, really cheap, and I purchased it recently.
See, here's what I want to do. I just want to play through Skyrim with somebody.
I'll do it with you, but I have it on the Xbox 360. I don't have the
you can't though.
version.
Like there's no.
Oh, I see
online...
what you're saying.
I just want to sit in Skyrim with somebody else and do that stuff together.
Right.
Is that not what Elder Scrolls Online is?
It doesn't play. It doesn't play the same, man. It plays more like an MMO.
Or it does.
Well,
play
it's not
like an MMO.
Not like a clicky MMO. It's not the same type of game.
How many MMOs do you play, CJ?
One, RuneScape. Dude, I don't need any more. Oh, I guess Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
I dabbled in Fallout 76 for a little bit, but I didn't care for it at all.
And you're still friends with Chad?
I know, right? No, we play Rocket League. That's our MMO. We do role playing in Rocket League where we go through drive through windows together and order food.
I am so bad at Rocket League. I embarrassed myself last time I played with you guys.
No, it was awesome. You scored goals, man.
On occasion, I think I got lucky.
I think Chad hit the ball into you and it went into the goal.
Hey, it counts.
It totally
still counts. The thing I liked about David Newman's comment. Yeah, I know. I'm glad you caught that. Thank you for catching that. He talked about, with us being in quarantine and hanging out, you can't hang out with people, so you're playing online. I haven't done that a whole lot. I still need to send you that copy of Borderlands, Zack, so we can just actually sit down and play that now that we got a little bit extra time. Like, we need to make that happen. It's never going to happen with you, me, and CB. It's just not going to happen. So we just need to make that happen.
Yeah.
But I have, I actually got a game I'm going to talk about in our games that we've been playing segment, where I've connected with some friends that I normally get together, and I think that's kind of a big thing right now. It's bringing people together. Didn't the World Health Organization put out an article? I think actually Chad posted it in Discord, I believe, where they're actually saying that it's healthy, like playing games is healthy. So we go from video games are causing mass shootings to it is now healthy to play video games, which I thought was really cool. And I think it's just a bonding thing. It's human contact when we can't be in physical contact with one another or within 6 feet of each other, but we can play online games all we want, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely important during quarantine time. And
yep.
On top of that, the whole puzzle aspect, games are meant to be challenging, and a mental challenge is good for your brain. It's good for cerebral growth, and video games definitely do that on a whole nother level of entertainment that other sources of media don't provide. You don't get that from a movie. You don't have to figure out I guess a great movie, murder mystery movies, you might have to do some serious thinking about.
Knives Out. Go watch it.
Okay.
Right, but even a movie, even if you don't do anything, it will solve itself.
It'll solve itself. There's no putting anything forward. Yeah, but in video games, you really have to insert yourself into the world in order to solve certain problems.
Yep. All right, Zack, you were up.
Sky High 51 says, when my dad first bought our PC, I could not be pulled away. I would get yelled at constantly to get off. 10 minutes later, you would still find me playing Ark with all my buddies. Whatever they were playing, I would get on the same game with them and play for hours until it was time for bed. One day, we all made the decision to buy Rust and play together. We were on 24/7 nonstop. But I think the best thing about getting the PC is that I was able to play games my dad played. I would sit behind his chair watching him play and wonder if you I would sit behind his chair watching him play and wonder, what if you do this? How do you cast that spell? But getting the PC, I had a blast playing with my dad on World of Warcraft and lots of other games.
I have a sneaking suspicion that is a Honigford kid.
Yeah, that was my suspicion as well.
Certain. Yeah.
It's probably.
But speaking of
Skylar.
Honigford kids,
Sky High.
Well, it is. It's his other son's name is Skylar, right? So that's got to be Skylar.
Yeah, I got them all listed here. When Logan Honigford says, when Dad bought Super Mario U Deluxe, Skylar, Sam, Dad, and me all played together. It was hilarious fun, and we'd all play together when we got a chance. We got up to sparkling waters till Sam had to go back to college, which, as you can tell, she is back now.
That's awesome. Super Mario U Deluxe, Wii U Deluxe, is that the one you can play 4 people on a screen at once?
yeah,
That
right?
is
And
not how I want to play Mario games.
No.
You can play 4 on the TV and 1 on the pad, or am I thinking of something else? So I think you could do 5.
I don't remember there being a 5th on the screen though, or was the person on the pad able to like make platforms?
Oh, that
or
was
something
probably
like
it.
that. Was that what it was? It's been a while.
It's been a long time, yeah.
It's been a while.
Wow, there's a callback. All right, Thomas Bex. We got a Commodore 64 in 1984. I remember going to get it in a small shop where they had all kinds of computer stuff that was completely new world to me. The C64 worked with cassette tapes, and one of the tapes we got had games on them. One of the games was Snoopy, a very simple but addictive platformer, and we all fell in love with it. My mom especially, and we would huddle around the TV screen to watch her play it and take turns trying to beat the game. My mom eventually managed to beat it, and she was the first to do so. And as with almost all games back then, the game simply started over, but the speed went up. Simple fun, but very warm memories. Another game on that tape was a Dutch language text adventure game called Murder in the Flat. And for me, a lifelong love affair with adventure games was born. That's a pretty cool story.
It's where it all started for Thomas Bex.
Yeah.
Those point-and-click reviews.
He loves those things. It's funny, he talks about how his mom was the first one to beat the Snoopy game. I have a similar story. My mom beat the original Mega Man before I did.
Wow.
I was mad as hell.
Mom stole my thunder.
Oh, she loves to tell that story that she actually beat that game before I did. My mom used to. Her favorite was Bubble Bobble for sure. You know how that song like gets stuck in your head after playing it as a kid so much. That game is more burned in my memory because me trying to go to sleep as a kid, hearing that song downstairs softly as I'm trying to fall asleep. True story.
Bubble Bobble music makes a good lullaby. Every time I hear somebody mention a Commodore 64, I always think of Weird Al Yankovic.
Is that one of his videos, or was that on the movie?
You think your Commodore 64 is really neato? What kind of chip you got in there? A Dorito? It's classic Weird Al lyrics. It's all about the Pentiums. No, it's all about the Pentiums. It was before White and Nerdy.
Ah, man, I have that album. Is that Running with Scissors?
That's Running with Scissors, yeah. You named the album.
I may have a couple songs off of that album memorized word for word.
Yeah.
No
Just
joke.
tell me one of them is driving a truck with my high heels on.
Driving a truck. Driving a big old truck. Yeah, me too. Was that the one that had Everything You Know Is Wrong? Is that on that album?
No, I don't think so.
Well, Everything You Know Is Wrong is the most ridiculous Weird Al Yankovic song ever. And I seriously have every word memorized. It's the dumbest song, and I absolutely love it. Go listen to it when we're done recording because it's hilarious.
I'll write it down.
That was the Running with Scissors had the Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh yeah,
Don McLean song, right?
A long time ago, in a galaxy far away. Yeah, that one I got that one memorized. Sure. You have it memorized? We should do it. We'll post it. Put a link in the.
There'll be a Patreon bonus episode or duet.
We'll do a sing-along episode.
I'll do it. I love to sing.
The best line of that song is you can see him hitting on the queen, though he's just 9 and she's 14.
Yeah, but she's 14.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know he's probably gonna marry her someday. Oh, no.
So anyway, George L. Diaz at Ready Set Fire 123 writes in, moved around a lot in my town. One house I lived a block away from a friend of mine, and when Fallout 4 first came out, he came over and we played that game for hours, getting super hyped about aluminum since we couldn't find any when I first played it. Good times.
Aluminum. I don't remember. Oh, that's right. Aluminum was like a scarce material that you needed to build for everything, right?
I didn't play Fallout 4, man.
I played 10 minutes of Fallout 4. Sad
Man.
to say.
Wrong audience, I guess, for this one.
No, hey, George, I love Fallout 4. Wasn't as good as Fallout 3. It was really, really good.
Fallout 4 came out the same day as Rise of the Tomb Raider. There was no shot I was playing Fallout 4.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, thank you to everybody that wrote in. And we had George, Thomas, Logan, Skylar, David, another David, Kevin, and Sean Coates. Really appreciate the stories, and I had a good time sharing our stories as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right. Couple new Facebook members to say hello to, Adam Zed and Heather Fullweiler. Welcome to the community. If you would like to join that community, head over to facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. Also, our Discord is available online. There's a link in the show notes if you'd like to join that. New members this week include Ryan Ickes, Nicholas Fromater, Jay Plath, Jeff Bredesen, Brett's Second Form, Joel Nig, and GCon212. Welcome to the community. Hope you guys are enjoying it over there. No new iTunes reviews, but if you could, head over to iTunes, drop us a review. It helps us get the word out. And also, our website is thegamingoutsider.com, where you'll find all our episodes as well as our written reviews, including Zach's written review of Doom Eternal, which is available right now. So head over and check that out. And we should have quite a few more reviews dropping this week. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the games we've actually been playing. All right, Zach, lay it on me. What's coming out this week?
All right, Persona 5 gets fancy with the Royal Edition coming to PS4 on March 31st. That is the game re-release.
It's already out. What are you talking about? It's already out.
It was
like GameStop is selling that game already. I know the official release date is 31st, but people have been posting all over our community that like they've got their copy of it already.
Oh, I mean, they sold Doom Eternal early too, but that's not the darn release date. What do you want from me?
I know.
You crap all over my segment like this.
I know. It's what I live to do, man.
Well, The Complex, an interactive movie.
Oh, that's a bummer. I hear The Complex, I think Shadow Complex.
Yeah, I really thought it would be something kind of cool. It's a sci-fi interactive movie coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC March 31st. It actually does look pretty good, but it's very much in like The Bunker kind of style, if you remember that one. One of Scott and I's hidden gems of the Xbox Game Pass is coming to PS4, Operencia The Stolen Sun. On March 31st.
If you like JRPGs, check that game out. It's pretty solid.
And even if you kind of don't, it's worth playing for the dialogue. It's pretty well written dialogue in there.
I think that was the first time Zach said that I was right.
I didn't play a bunch of that game, but yeah. I'm gonna stop telling you when you're right. I'm just gonna
commemorative T-shirts being made in the store.
I'm just gonna start lying to Scott.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. Be like, hey, I think you'd love Evoland. Like, it's kind of trash, actually, man. Then secretly, I'm replaying it over 100%. Overpass coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC March 31st. Nate's been playing that one, right?
Yeah, he actually has a written review coming very soon, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. He loved it.
Pretty great off-roading kind of game.
It's very technical.
Yes, it does seem pretty intense. Silly looking game, totally reliable delivery service coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on April 1st. It seems they could not have had a better time to release that video game about the delivery industry.
It's kind of one of those Overcooked style co-op games.
Yes.
Oh, is that what that is?
And you got drones on a tower going up and down, and I'm not sure exactly how it plays, but it looks like a lot of fun. It looks goofy.
It looks like a little bit of Crazy Taxi mixed in there to me.
Oh, yeah?
The flavor of it. I don't know. Hyper Parasite coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC April 3rd. That's one of them.
Twin stick shooter. Yeah.
Indeed. And then I guess the big gun, Resident Evil 3, coming to PS4, Xbox One, PC April 3rd. It's also it's bundled with Resident Evil Resistance, their multiplayer game as well. So
too bad you can't just buy the campaign on its own.
Yeah, well, remember they announced Resident Evil Resistance separately, and I guess when you install the disc or download the game, they download separately and install separately. So it seems like they very last minute threw these games together in one bundle. They probably got worried that Resident Evil 3 was going to be too short without multiplayer.
Well, was the original was Resident Evil 2 only $40, or was that a $60 title? I don't remember.
It was $60.
Was it? Okay.
But that has, I think that has way more packed in nostalgia than RE3.
Mm-hmm.
You probably more confidently, or maybe they were afraid no one was going to play Resident Evil Resistance. I would not have paid money for a Resident Evil multiplayer game.
No, and I heard the game doesn't play very well, at least in the beta. I have not played it. I've just heard. So
Resident Evil 3 seems like a title I'd rather play on the Switch.
But it looks so good.
It's not coming out on the Switch?
It's not on Switch.
Not the remake.
I don't think it would
you
run.
can play the original.
Oh. I'm sure this is exactly the same thing.
No.
You know, when they remake these games, they don't do anything new at all. That's sarcasm. Don't write in.
See, here's my quandary with Resident Evil 3. And we talked about this before we recorded, Zach. I don't want to pay $60 for a 6-hour game. I know I'm kind of a hypocrite.
Yes, it's very hypocritical, Scott.
Yeah, I want to red box it, and I can't red box it anymore. That drives me crazy.
Right. Well, yeah. Even before COVID, no rentals out of Redbox for games.
Nope.
Are they discontinuing that service altogether? No more games out of Redbox?
It's completely done. It's done now.
I didn't realize.
Has been for a while.
See, it's such a conundrum, Scott, because you were also worried that Resident Evil 3 was going to be too long and you didn't want to buy it. So now it's the length you need, but not at the price you want.
I know. I'm impossible to please, man. That's exactly what it is. Well, my frustration is Final Fantasy comes out the following week, and that is the game I'm more excited for. Don't get me wrong. Resident Evil 3 does look awesome, but I'm definitely on board for Final Fantasy. Yeah, and I want to get that done. And now that I know that that's short, I'm okay with that. But now I'm looking at having to drop $120 for both games instead of just paying the $60 for the other. Well, so I'm in a conundrum.
You could not pay $330 for Final Fantasy VII and definitely have money for both.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII.
Just one idea.
Oh, you're saying getting rid of the special edition,
the motorcycle edition? Yeah. That's
yeah. Well, it's not like it's here yet.
Would Final Fantasy make a great Break the Seal episode?
The original?
Well, yeah, if we did the original.
If you could find somebody who's never played them.
Well, Christina's playing it for the first time right now.
Yeah, I've never played Final Fantasy.
Well,
but she's also not very far. We were actually talking about that on the show. She just got to the point in the game where supposedly the remake ends, like out of Midgar. Like she actually got in the little car or whatever. That's where the remake ends, right?
Right. I'm pretty sure Nomura has said that publicly. Yeah.
Right. So she's that far in the game, and she's like, "I'm so glad I decided to play this one instead of playing the remake." I'm like, "You're crazy."
Do both, Scott. That was we agreed. I remember coming out of E3 that we both thought FF7 was the best game we played there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was shocked at how well that played.
Yeah. It's better than it has any right to be with the development turmoil it went through.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to look forward to there.
And I don't have a problem with the voice acting.
Do people? I really don't. Does somebody have a problem with voice acting?
Somebody always has a problem with the voice acting. You know that.
Well, anytime a game is dubbed, it seems like people want to crap all over it.
This doesn't feel like it's dubbed though.
No, I don't think games have felt like they've been dubbed in 10 years.
I agree.
Right, Resident Evil 2 was dubbed.
So, CJ, any of these you plan on picking up this week?
I can't say that I am. Overpass does look intriguing. I'm not sure that I know enough about off-roading, about big trucks. It looks like it's a game for very knowledgeable people who know a lot about that subject. Mm-hmm. And but that would probably be the title I'd be most interested in picking up.
Not a Resident Evil guy, huh?
Not really. Resident Evil 4 is the only Resident Evil game I've actually played to completion. And when you guys said that it didn't hold up, the play didn't hold up, I tried going back and playing it, and you're totally right. I can't. It's unplayable. I tried to play it just for my wife to like watch me play, and it's awful.
You know what you need to do?
What's that?
Go play Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Okay.
It controls the way we wanted, or the way we remember Resident Evil 4 controlling.
Yeah.
Like it controls correctly, and it's solid. I think I think Zach and I both secretly hope that we get a RE4 remaster.
I don't think it's a secret.
I'd be excited.
I love that. That one I would buy a $300 collection edition for.
Yeah? Like the chainsaw?
Maybe also put the chainsaw controller back out.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be so smart.
That'd be
but
good.
I would do that just for that. I just told a story about that game on this very episode.
True.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, I assume Resident Evil 3, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Even play it.
Yeah, even if I wasn't doing it for the site, that would definitely be the one to pick up for sure.
Nice. All right, CJ, you are our guest. I want to hear what games you've been playing, man.
Oh, boy. Like I mentioned, we finished Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Loved it. Very fun to watch. Very fun to look at. The story was gripping. The platforming was so smooth and enjoyable, and I liked that the map wasn't so intimidatingly big that you could go back to other parts, and just like platformers, you get new abilities that access different parts of the same map you've already traversed. I enjoy that. Mm-hmm. Rocket League, been playing a lot of Rocket League with my brother. He plays it on the Switch, I play it on the Xbox, and we can party up because game's awesome like that, cross-platform, and yeah, we kick some butt that way. And Kingdom Hearts 3, I've been playing pretty much just because my kids want to see Disney characters and I want to play video games, so it's kind of a compromise. But holy cow, talk about a movie with some gameplay scattered here and there.
You're not wrong.
The cutscenes are just ridiculously huge and uninteresting.
And I wouldn't mind that as much if the story made a lick of sense.
Right.
But I feel like that story does not make a whole lot of sense to me at all.
I'm sure it's got to make sense to the fans, right?
I hope so. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but I remember reading about them and getting really excited about it, but I didn't own a platform. I didn't own a console that could play it. So when Kingdom Hearts was like $12 at GameStop, I nabbed it up because I thought it was a steal, and I plug it in, and before I can even touch a controller, I got to watch 25 minutes of a wizard telling me I don't have abilities anymore for some reason. Anyway, nope, I don't get the story either.
I really want to talk to somebody that does understand that story. Like just like walk me through, give me like the elevator 10-minute pitch of what happens in all three games, because I just don't understand it.
But that's you've already failed though, because it's not just the three games. All the PSP and the DS ones are all part of the canon. They all count. Like one of the major characters in 3 was introduced in a PSP game. Yeah, you already messed up, Scott.
Yeah, I'd like to find that person as well. We should bring him on and have him do a Kingdom Hearts explanation episode.
There's a Patreon episode. So you listening out there, if you understand the Kingdom Hearts story, like all of it, and can give us a like 10, 15-minute spiel on how that game works, answer some questions from us. If
you can do it in an hour, I would be impressed.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to hear about it for that long. I hope it's a really good story. But that's essentially how I learned the story about Dragon Ball Z. I had somebody sit me down and talk my ear off for 2 hours about you have to get the Dragon Balls together so that you can wish for Goku to come back, and that's what Dragon Balls are for.
That's true.
That's all they had to tell me. That's all you need to know.
Funny you say that. We did that on Patreon. We did a Dragon Ball episode back from my old crew. Robbie was a big Dragon Ball Z guy. And we sat him down and he gave me the 20, 30-minute spiel of what that is. So if you like Dragon Ball, go check that episode out.
I loved watching Dragon Ball Z as an adult and realizing that Goku is an unhinged psychopath. Every time he's about to kill the bad guy and save the world, he throws him a sensu bean. He's like, I want to fight some more. That guy's not healthy, man. That's not the right way to behave.
I have no idea what you're talking about because I've never watched an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
he every time he almost beats a bad guy, he gives him a full heal so he can fight him some more because he thinks it's fun.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of messed up.
He's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. They try to be like, he wants a fair fight. Like, no. Frieza just murdered a planet.
Yeah.
Arrest
He needs
him.
that makes
Blast
sense
him out
in
of
my
the
head.
sky. Don't let him heal up because you want a fair fight. Get out of here.
So does he, like, in those instances, actually, like, wind up winning that fight again? Or does
Yeah,
that...
I mean, of course, yeah.
Oh,
Narrow
okay.
fights.
But he
Can't-
dies
you can't-
sometime, right? Because he has to die
He does.
because people wish for him to come back, and that's the sole reason these Dragon Balls exist. I guess they
Right.
can wish for anything, but all anybody wishes for is for Goku to come back.
Well, yeah, he dies at the beginning of the storyline because a villain comes along and it's the strongest villain they've ever fought. And then they wish for Goku back, but he's been training the whole time he's been dead. So he comes back stronger than ever. And now he's unlocked a new potential within the Saiyan power.
Well, when you
Rinse
say
and
it like
repeat.
that, I feel like
Zack's
Zach might
got
be
such a
our
great-
guy.
Zach's got such a
did-
great, like, movie trailer voice, by the way.
Yeah, right? Gets
Wow,
all
thank you.
gravelly. Zach, can you
no,
say,
Drew-
in a world?
In a world.
That's perfect.
Thank you. I do like Dragon Ball Z. Or I liked it. It's harder when you've already seen it.
Yeah, all I know
There's
is
so
about
much
the Dragon
filler.
Balls and that it's pronounced Vegeta.
Yes.
important.
Well, like vegetable.
Mm.
You see, in the Goku's Saiyan name is Kakarot, like a carrot. And his brother's name is Raditz, like a radish. See what they're doing there?
Yeah.
I've never felt like such an out-of-place nerd in my entire life right now. I have no idea what's going on. Zach,
Sorry.
talk to me about Twin Breaker, a Sacred Symbols Adventure, which I think you actually mentioned this in the games that were coming out last week. It looks like Arkanoid with a story. So what's the story?
Well, it's Arkanoid with a story, Scott. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't want to directly pimp another podcast, but it's based on a PlayStation podcast called Sacred Symbols.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with the old IGN journalist Colin Moriarty.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's his video game.
He made
Fun
it?
fact. Well, he wrote the story and I think did some the creative design work.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's him- yeah,
I
him-
see him on Twitter once in a while.
Being controversial, no doubt.
Yeah, he's very, very politically charged.
Sure. Well, so are the other journalists, just on the other side. But anyway,
True.
no politics here. Twin Breaker is Arkanoid with a story. You are correct.
All right.
The story it's about first contact. So humanity sends out these generation ships into outer space and they lose contact with them.
Uh-huh.
But then they get a signal blast from one of them. So they send out these spaceships, these long cylindrical spaceships with guns on each side. And they have a new weapon system called the bouncer technology. I can, deflect attacks back at people or whatever.
This just sounds made up.
I mean, well, every story is made up.
Yeah, it's true.
The story, as Alan Moore once said, the story is made up, but aren't they all? So
I
you
like
do
it.
that. You kill some aliens with your balls. You break some bricks with your balls. But
Say
actually,
it one
the
more
story,
time, man.
balls. But the story, the story's actually kind of fun. I don't know. It's it's about first contact. And it's pretty simple, like the main story. But they have all these codex entries. If you get an A or S rank on a level, they really flesh out these world in interesting ways. You learn about like the political structure of the world that they've crafted here. It's kind of interesting. And it's definitely opened up for a sequel too. And if you do listen to the podcast, there are references to it as well. But the story, I thought the story was actually pretty engaging, and I wanted to see more of it. I thought it ended kind of too soon.
Interesting. How long was it?
Hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, wow. It's that short.
Maybe.
Okay, man. I really should have checked that out. Now that I got my PS4 back, I'm going to have to go check
Yeah, I
that
think
out.
you would like it I know you're a fan of brick breakers. I'll say one thing I noticed is that I feel like the paddles drift like a centimeter too far every time you let off the stick.
Oh, okay.
But I know they've been pretty routinely patching it, so that could be, a temporary issue.
What I saw in the trailer, it looked like you had the paddles on both sides of the screen. So like,
Right. Oh yeah. So the big hook of the game is that Twin Breaker is you control two paddles at once. So you
Mhm.
control one with the left stick, one with the right stick, and boy, is that hard to wrap your head around at first. Let me tell you.
I'll bet.
But then So the game starts and you're on the horizontal plane, and then it'll change. Now you're brick breaking vertically on each side of the screen with the left and right stick. But then you're right. Eventually, you are controlling 4 paddles at once. So you're controlling a paddle on the y-axis, the x-axis, each with, and then one stick controls both sets or whatever. The four paddles
really maddening.
The 4 paddles very tricky to get used to. I did kind of start to get it by the end of the campaign mode, but man, that is a lot for your brain to keep track of at once. Let me tell you.
It sounds like it.
But you do wrap your head around it, and I don't know. It's fun. I do feel a little bit like my when I was going for high scores or whatever. It felt a little bit like it was too dependent on luck.
Oh, okay.
You know, like the power ups dropping, because one of the power ups is a multiplier. So that, I mean, if you get that in a level, you can much easier to get your all the way to a high score. You know,
right?
But hey, it's got the story, which I think you should check out, Scott. Oh, I think you'd like this game in general, but it's got a bunch of different modes. It's got like a random mode, so you can kind of keep playing forever. It's got a super fun Pong mode where you play Pong against. There are also boss fights in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you can play Pong against the bosses, which is kind of fun. It was actually a lot of fun. So there's a lot of meat here for $10 for sure. But at its core, it is Arkanoid with 2 paddles and a story and boss fights.
Yeah, but I like Arkanoid, so I kind of was sold on that because I think the last brick breaking game we got, I think, was called Brick Breaker on Xbox One, and it was okay. It wasn't satisfying. Does this one feel satisfying to like chip away at stuff?
Yeah. I think, I was definitely satisfied. For sure. And like, I beat the campaign and I wanted to check out the other modes and stuff, which doesn't always happen.
Okay.
So,
fair enough.
It's just like, it's like for $10, a brick break, like, yeah, you're right. We don't get a lot of these kinds of games. So for someone to come along, try to do something new with it, respect. That's Twin
Absolutely.
Breaker, the Sacred Symbols Adventure.
Yeah, when I want to break some bricks, I usually just Google breakout and just ping away at the images. If you've never done that before, definitely do that.
Okay.
Breakout was the original on 2600.
On the Atari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rotating paddle with the. There was this console called the Atari 2600, Zach. It was
the first console I ever played on, Scott.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know how many times I can tell you the story about my grandpa. He made me play all the consoles. Man.
I know. We talked about it last week.
You should be happy that Scott has to reach for things to disparage you about.
That's a good point.
I'm actually jealous of Zach's age. I wish I were his age again.
Yeah, me too.
It's not that exciting. Outlaw, the best Atari game out there.
Oh man, that is a good game.
That's what I love.
Nice. Well, Scott, you've been playing a game called Good Goliath on PSVR, and I don't want you to pander just to me, but I have zero experience with the PSVR. How does that rate with the Oculus? Say.
So you have played the Oculus, but you just haven't played the PlayStation.
The Oculus, never played the PlayStation VR.
It's serviceable. It was a wondrous thing when I first experienced it, and it's still a great place to play play Beat Saber. It works just fine as long as you don't mind playing with a cable. Because you got to play.
That was my next question: is if you have to plug in or if
you have to play with it. I've been a little spoiled playing with CB's Quest, which is completely wireless. But
right.
The PSVR is still a decent piece of hardware. It doesn't look nearly as clear as the Quest. I haven't played like the Oculus Rift or the Oculus the Rift S or any of the real super fancy ones, but it still works.
Okay.
And I've been just thinking about this game, Good Goliath. It just makes me smile. I don't know if you watched the trailer for this. It is a ridiculous concept that is just stupid fun. I just don't even know how to explain this game is, and I mean this in a good way. When I say stupid, it's a silly premise, but it works for some reason.
Okay.
So I honestly could not really tell you what the story is or if there is a narrative, but you are a giant. You are this big giant, and you are in the city, and the villagers are trying to attack you and stop you from destroying their city. and that's all you know. This is a wave-based game, and the way it works is you have to destroy a certain number of villagers before you go on to the next wave, and there are different kinds of villagers as you go on. But how do you attack them? Well, you attack them by catching the things that they throw at you and then hurling them back at them.
Yikes.
And you do that with the move controllers,
Right.
and the trigger buttons. So you have to catch things in midair by grabbing the trigger as they throw pitchforks and barrels and other villagers at you. Catch them in midair, and then you fling them by doing a throwing motion and releasing the trigger button at the same time. It takes a bit to figure out how to aim that properly, where to release it at the right spot. But once you get it down, it becomes a somewhat second nature, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, it immediately makes me think of Super Hot, where you're catching things, throwing them back, but it's, you got to catch the bottle that they're throwing at you, then throwing it back at their face, and it's a little bit off, because if you don't know how to throw it goofy, then you won't get it exactly
I see what you're saying. Yeah, completely different kind of game, but yes, the throwing feels very similar like it does in Super Hot, where like you never know where is the appropriate time to release it. So
right.
I get what you're saying. And this is that whole game. The whole game is throwing stuff. But the game does a really clever way of making it more interesting as you go up and up in these waves. So at the beginning, all you have is pitchforks, and you have to kill 30 villagers by catching their pitchforks and throwing them back at them. You have to do that 30 times. And at first I was like, wow, this is the whole game? Well, no, then they introduce these characters that throw barrels at you, and you have to throw barrels back, but now they take 2 barrel hits in order to kill them. And oh, by the way, they also walk off the screen, and if they walk off the screen, you can't attack them anymore, and you don't get you lose that opportunity. And then they introduce these other characters that have exploding barrels. So if you throw a pitchfork at a guy carrying an exploding barrel, that causes him to lose control of the exploding barrel, which comes at you. You catch that. Now you throw the exploding barrel, and it blows up 5 guys at one time, or it blows up the windmill. It's just destruction and mayhem and hilarious. It's stupid fun.
Well, it sounds like a game you'd recommend.
I definitely do. I was really surprised at how much this game put a smile on my face the entire time I was playing it. I haven't finished it yet. I want to go back to it and play it some more. But it's worth. I actually got an email from the PR rep. It's $20.
Okay.
For $20, you can't go wrong with this, and it's. I didn't have anybody in the room with me to watch me play it, but it seems like something that would be really fun to watch somebody else play as well. So I'm recommending Good Goliath. It's a lot of fun, if not short-lived. And it keeps going and going and going. Every level that I played kept introducing it. The level that I got killed at was there are witches flying around, and they're throwing magic spells at you, which you can physically dodge with your head.
You can't catch them.
You can't catch their spells, but you can catch because the rest of the village is throwing pitchforks at you, so you have to dodge the pitchforks or catch the pitchforks, dodge her magic spells, throw the pitchforks at the witches, and they take 3 hits. So nice. It's from watching the trailer, it looks like there are other giants that you're going to fight by throwing rocks, and it's boss battles. I can't wait to get back into it. It's a lot of fun.
You haven't gotten that far yet?
No, not that far. Actually, CB was reviewing this game for us, and he obviously is indisposed, so he actually brought me his PS4 so that I could review it for him while he's gone. So I didn't get a chance to play it until today.
And is that exclusive to PSVR?
I can't say for certain. I'd have to look at the press release. I want to say yes, but I have to double check. I'll let you know.
Sounds like a blast.
Yeah, that is Good Goliath. If you just want a make you smile big and have some stupid fun VR game, I recommend it.
Thanks, Scott.
We could all use a little stupid fun right now.
Very true. Although you do feel kind of bad because you're the bad guy. But it feels cool.
That's all right.
It's fun to be the bad guy every once in a while.
Definitely fun to be the bad guy. Oh yeah, Scott, you've been playing an NES game.
Yeah,
Trophy. That's right.
This game
brand new NES game. I'm sorry. Let me preface this.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
Yes, this is a homebrew NES game. It actually will be available on PC. It's actually being kickstarted right now, so they've got about a week left on the Kickstarter. So if anything that I'm about to tell you sounds interesting, be sure to check out the Kickstarter. The link will be in the show notes because I'm going to talk this game up. It's great. Trophy is a love letter to Mega Man. Through and through. It is an homage. It is I'm not going to go as far as saying like it's a ripoff or a copy, but it feels like you're playing a Mega Man game. But instead of playing as Mega Man, you play as a character named Trophy, who is he stands taller than Mega Man. His running animation, which is very impressive considering this is an 8-bit game, is really cool. He's taller. Instead of shooting from an arm cannon, he actually shoots projectiles Iron Man style, like he palms the air and then like a bolt of whatever comes out of his hand. And very impressed with this game. And even though it does feel like a Mega Man game, it also has some severe differences to Mega Man. Mega Man's trope is that you beat a boss, you gain their power, and then that power is used against another boss. That's not in here at all. They've actually kind of simplified the Mega Man formula quite a bit to make this its own thing. So when you beat a boss, you just beat a boss and go to the next one. That's it. You don't get any power up. You don't have a charge shot. You don't have the slide ability. You don't have rush.
Well,
you know what I mean?
how is this like Mega Man then?
Just like the level structure, and then you know there are 8 levels to choose from. When you beat all 8, there's a 9th one that unlocks like a Dr. Wily kind of situation. You can play them in any order. That's the Mega Man formula.
Okay.
So they're missing the power-ups, but I don't think it's a bad thing because I think what they've done is they've stripped this down and made Trophy. How do I say this? They've made Trophy in such a way that relies on your platforming skills. You don't have a cheat. You don't have a way out of it. You don't have like, oh, I've got the Metal Man saw that can go in any direction, and it makes this game much easier. You don't have that. Each level is just going to be whatever it is. Now, they do have some power-ups that are available, but they're very hidden, almost kind of like Mega Man X hid their capsules. I mean, there were a couple that were extremely easy to find, but all the power-ups that I've been able to locate are pretty well hidden. Like you got to kind of search around for them or look for them in places you're not expecting. And I kind of like that. And a couple of them are just like increase your health. But there's one that I got that actually increases the size of the projectile that you fire from your hand. And I thought this was pretty cool because it actually changes the color of the character as well. But they do something that I've never seen done in any game, much less an NES game. When your health goes below a certain level, you revert back to the original projectile, the smaller projectile. So instead of like having a desperation mode where your health goes down and now you're going to get the powerful weapon as like a last resort, no, your weapon actually gets weaker as your health goes down. And
That's
I thought
harsh.
Yeah.
Punishes you for being at low health.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. And one of the better parts of this game is the boss battles. The boss battles are no joke. I think we've all played a Mega Man game, and even though this game is based on pattern recognition, that is the Mega Man games are the patterns are very much you're constantly just doing the same pattern over and over and over again, or you find the weakness and just cheese your way through it. The bosses in Trophy are very much a battle of attrition. Like you are dodging just as much as you are attacking. Like your natural inclination is just to attack and attack and attack and attack, and you really have to wait for your moments to attack instead of just attack as much as possible. It's all about being patient, waiting for your opening, and I think the boss battles are very well designed. And I'm in fact stuck at the final boss of the game that I have not been able to complete yet. I was playing it right before we started recording, and I just cannot beat this second form of this boss. Which, Zach, you asked how is it Mega Man? The final boss is definitely Wily-esque. you fight
Dr. Wywee.
you fight this giant thing, and then it breaks down, and there's a dude controlling you can see him controlling a little ship kind of thing. It feels very, very much like Mega Man.
Okay, so yeah, they put their own spin on it.
Yeah, it's got its own spin. The character, I mean, I love Mega Man. Don't get me wrong. I think the character Trophy is a little cooler looking than Mega Man.
Well, he does the Iron Man thing, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's shooting fireballs from his hand, and the music is great. It's good 8-bit music. I'm gonna make a weird connection. I really got a Little Samson vibe from playing this. I don't know if you've played Little Samson on the NES. It's one of the very rare, expensive games. Very Capcom-y feeling game. I got a feeling of that from playing this too. I feel like everyone's saying that this is a Mega Man homage. I think there's a little Samson in there as well too.
Just a
really
little Samson.
Little Samson. Would you prefer me to say little Samson? Just a little Samson.
Just a little. It's a little Samson. He's a rapper now.
There you go. But yes, like I said, the Kickstarter is still up. I think you can get a digital copy. If you kick it for $10, they'll give you a digital copy of the game on PC. If you want the actual physical NES cart, I think it's $50, but that comes complete in box. Like you get a box and a manual and an insert and all that kind of stuff.
That sounds pretty reasonable, actually.
Yeah,
for a modern day NES game.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a relatively short game, but it's not easy. It'll take some skills. It's 9 stages, very straightforward, but totally digging it. I really hope that these guys do well because it's a great little game. Again, that is Trophy.
All right, yeah, and definitely recommend that.
I do, and it's funny because it's called Trophy. The energy power-ups that you get are little trophies, so instead of it being like a power pellet or whatever they were in Mega Man, the enemies drop trophies and you pick it up and it increases your health. I just thought that was pretty cool.
As well, it should be.
Yeah. All right, so those are the new games we've been playing. Zach, what have you been catching up on?
Well, I wrapped up Doom Eternal.
Yep.
I started to find the rhythm of combat a little bit more, but I feel like my issues kind of persisted throughout the game. The chainsaw, the flamethrower, the glory kills. It just kind of felt like the game was constantly getting in its own way.
That's what you mentioned.
It has a fun core shooting loop. I mean, obviously, Doom 2016 is incredible, but it just felt like the game just wanted to do go so much bigger and do so much more. They were probably very excited about the reception of the first reboot, and it just felt like it got away from not a lot of restraint issued here, and it ended up those last few hours. I was just kind of I was hanging in there for the story, which is a hilarious thing to say about Doom. But
yeah.
The story of Doom Eternal is actually pretty. Maybe not the story itself, but the lore, the war of heaven and hell, and everything you learn about that, and kind of the Doom guy's origins and everything. All that stuff's really, really interesting, and it's actually pretty unique too. So,
can I ask you a question about the combat?
Sure, yeah.
I wanted to ask you last week, but it sounds hectic. I haven't actually seen any videos of gameplay, but does time slow down? Like bullet time, kind of?
No, there is actually one upgrade you can do where you can slow down time in the air. So, but no, there's not. Hectic's a good word for it. I mean, the combat in the first game was also hectic, but it was manageable. Whereas Doom Eternal definitely assumes you have played Doom. Much like Mario Galaxy 2 that we talked about earlier, kind of assumed you played Mario Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Or Kingdom Hearts assumes that you played all Kingdom Hearts games.
17 games to get there.
Right.
Doom Eternal starts pretty difficult. And I just feel like, it's just the chainsaw, man. I cannot tell you how annoying the chainsaw is in this game. Because
that's disappointing.
And I know, I feel like, I don't know, I feel crazy, nitpicking this one thing, but it does affect combat in so many ways, because it's the only way you can get ammo. And, and you can really only use it on lesser enemies very often, unless you save up fuel, which you have to find hidden in the environment. So if you're out of ammo and you got, a Marauder left, he's the hardest enemy type in the game. and you run out of ammo, and now there are no enemies around. So now you're just like flailing around, waiting for your grenade to recharge off its cooldown to fire at them. Like, that's not fun.
Yeah, that's disappointing to hear that chainsaw mechanic is slow. It makes things unfun because the Lancer in
Right.
Gears, you know, that was a blast.
Right.
I use that thing more than I shot at enemies, but you having a chainsaw and it being annoying to use, that's a downer.
Well, and when you combine it with the glory kills and the flamethrower, the flame belcher, like everything adds up, and it's just constantly getting in the way of the shooting.
Too much.
Right. And there's also about 19 skill trees in this game. But you know how I feel about those.
Well, I just actually saw a tweet that said that the current Doom Eternal world record speed run, are you ready? 39 minutes and 40 seconds.
Well, gotta assume a glitch is involved there. It's a pretty meaty game.
12-hour plus game, did you say?
I think it took me 16, 18 hours, somewhere around there. It's a pretty beefy game.
39 minutes.
39 minutes and 40 seconds. I kind of want to watch the video now. Maybe I can see the story that way. Oh, no, I can't. They're going to skip all the cutscenes.
Well, most of the story, a lot of the stories in codex entries anyway.
True. All right, what else you been playing, Zach?
Oh, Titanfall 2. Because after Doom Eternal, I want to return to I want a nice, brisk campaign of shooter game.
I should go back and replay that.
Then it's so satisfying. I love Titanfall.
I love Titanfall. I was trying to look around, but they don't have any books or comics or anything, man. I want more of this universe.
Yeah, me too. The whole going back in time and seeing what happened before the incident and shifting back and forth. Holy cow. It hurt my brain at some points, but so fascinating.
Going back to that level, 4 years after it came out, it's more impressive. I was telling Scott before the show, I feel like this game, most games do not age well as technology evolves. This game has aged magnificently. I think it is better now than it was when it came out.
Oh, I gotta go play it. I have it downloaded right now. I was gonna play it this weekend and just couldn't find the time, but yeah.
And like in the era of open world skill trees, RPG mechanics involved into everything, it is refreshing to play. It's a 5-6 hour game, and it almost feels like a shooter developed by Nintendo, because you'll have a mechanic and you'll interact with it like 30-40 minutes, so they'll use it in every single way you can think of, and they just throw it away and you never do it again, like the time travel mechanic.
Forget about it.
There's like 45 minutes of time travel in this game, and then
it's like the one building, and then they never use it again.
And that's brilliant, and because every time you get a new mechanic, you're left wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
I want Titanfall 3 to have a 20-hour campaign.
I worry it would get lost. The magic would get lost, But I want more Titanfall, but I think Apex Legends has just about killed that. So yeah, Scott, if you're thinking about going back to Titanfall 2, do it. And it really is like 5 hours, 5-6 hours.
I want to play it just for the prefab level alone. I thought that concept was so clever.
The houses being built while you're platforming on them.
Yeah.
It felt like a Portal level, didn't it? Just like a really fast-paced Portal.
Yeah, but it was like an assembly line of houses being built. Or
neighborhoods being cranked out by machines. Yeah.
I really like that a lot.
It's got a little Half-Life in its DNA, too. In terms of, here's a mechanic, and now it's gone. Yeah.
More games.
And also, I guess they're both built on the Source engine, too, so that probably helps. But anyway, Scott, what have you been catching up on?
Well, I replayed through Evoland again. I saw it was on Xbox, and I wanted achievements, so I played through it again, and that game is just still so charming. Just love that game. So, not going to say too much more about that, but play Evoland, guys. It's really good. I know Chad has been playing it as well too, and he actually played it months ago, and I didn't even remember that he played it. I should have listened to him. Patrick recommended it. I need to listen to our guys more, because that game I should have played a long time ago.
So you're saying I shouldn't be thanking you for Evoland. I should be thanking Chad.
Chad, yes, and Patrick. From EXP.
Okay. I gotta start Evoland too, because Evoland 1 was something special.
Yeah, it's good. I need to go back in. I think I just need to restart that game, but it's good too. Anyway, the game I really wanted to talk to you about, which is where the playing with people that I normally play with in person and I couldn't, and finding a way to play online is a game called, it's not a new game, but Tabletop Simulator. Because I have a group of friends that I like to play board games with, and since we can't get together to play board games, one of my buddies said, hey, they got a sale on Tabletop Simulator. You can get 4 copies of it for $30. It's normally $10 a piece. You guys want to like do this and split it? And I looked it up, and I'm like, well, I see chess and checkers and Chinese checkers and a deck of cards, and I'm like, okay. And then he said, no, this is not all that's in here. You can play any board game that you can possibly think of. You just download that board game, and it puts it in here, and you can play it. And I was like, okay, I have a hard time believing that, but it's true. Now, the one thing I will say about this is Tabletop Simulator is one of the most aptly titled games I've ever played. It is a simulator. It is not Settlers of Catan, where it counts everything for you and does all that. It is not Carcassonne that will count up the end of the game score for you. Tabletop Simulator gives you a table, gives you all the pieces of the game, and gives you mechanics how to manipulate everything. Shuffle cards, flip cards, move cards, draw coins from a bag, put coins back into a bag, and then you just play the game. So it is as if you were playing the game digitally, but you're just sitting around a table with your buddies, manipulating the cards and doing it yourself, if that makes sense. Like, it's not scoring it for you. It is not dealing out the cards for you. You have to deal everything out and set it up, which sounds annoying, but they add this ability to add macros to it. So you can actually download a scripted version of one of these board games that will have a little button that somebody has created that will shuffle the cards and then deal them out in whatever way you want them. So people have created all these things. I'm basically downloading ROMs, or not ROMs. What do you call it when you mess with it and you make your own version of it?
A ROM
like Fallout
hack?
4. What is it?
I was gonna a ROM hack, or a mod, or
Mod. That's what I'm thinking of. Like, people have basically made modifications for these games, and they just make them work, and it's outstanding. It's got a learning curve because you have to sit down and learn how to manipulate everything, and it takes a minute to do. But once you got it, you can just sit down and play a game with somebody, and it's the same as playing at a table with your buddies.
So let me see if I understand. I'm looking at some pictures, and I guess so you can get into the domino game, but you don't need to play dominoes. You can actually stack them up and push them around and do whatever you want with them. You don't have to play the games. Or in Monopoly, if I roll a 7, is my piece going to move 7? Or I have to take the piece and I have to go 7 places?
You have to pick it up and move it 7 places. It will not move it for you.
So you could potentially be the banker in Monopoly, and you ever have that guy that's like sneaking money from the bank? You could do that.
Technically, yeah, if you can get away with it.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I would try to do that, but that's really fun to me.
Yeah, because I'm so used to tabletop games where like it's it does everything for you. Which, don't get me wrong, I like. I used to play Carcassonne with Chad all the time up until like 3:00 in the morning, and I've realized I never ever want to play Carcassonne again physically because scoring that game is a nightmare. It is so nice to play it on an Xbox and just have it just do it all for you. So Carcassonne may not be one you want to do, but I've been playing Duel, which is a spin-off of Seven Wonders. I've been playing that with a buddy of mine. First off, that's a great 2-player game if you ever want like a quick, easy to learn, just a fantastic game. Duel is awesome. I've been playing that with a buddy, and it's great. I love it.
I'm intrigued. 2-player Seven Wonders sounds awesome.
I actually like it better than Seven Wonders. No joke. Like, wow. Seven Wonders, I know we've been talking about getting into tabletop. Seven Wonders has, once the game goes, you kind of get an idea of the proper way to go or the proper thing that you're going for. Duel does not have like that one way that's going to work. It feels so much more balanced than Seven Wonders does. It's legitimately a great game, and I highly recommend it. But Tabletop Simulator, it's not just checkers and chess. There is so much more to that game that is not advertised. It's so good, I'm worried that stuff is going to get pulled because of licensing.
I'm looking at this Pokemon trading card game mod for Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
That's a little sketch, but awesome.
Yeah,
Does it
there are
have
people that do their D&D games in Tabletop Simulator.
Does it have Betrayal at House on the Hill?
Oh, such a great game.
Yeah,
I would
love
have
that
to look
game.
it up, but
I
my
wish
buddy,
I had it in my house for this quarantine time.
my buddy has just stacks and stacks of board games, and he literally sat there next to his stack and looked up every single one. He could not find a single game in his collection that was not available to download on
That's
Tabletop
amazing.
Simulator. So if you're looking for a way to do some, social distancing online gaming, first off, get you a second monitor so you can have the game on one and then your chat on another, like your Discord chat or whatever you want to use for chat, and figure it out. It's going to be a little frustrating at first to get the hang of it, but once you get it, it's freaking sweet. And it's $10.
Does it have VR support?
It does
That
have
was my
VR
question.
support.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that would be a perfect VR game for sure.
And I feel like
wonder
it would
if
be a
you
lot
can-
easier to do with VR than a mouse, believe it or not. I would think.
Well, yeah, you could just pick
You,
up
like,
the
go out
pieces.
Grip a card, have your hand.
Yeah. But there's even like
throw
there's
your
even
pawn
like
to the
a
guy.
they thought of
Yeah.
everything. Like I play a game called Citadels with my friends. I don't know if you're familiar with that game, but that is a game where like you have a deck of cards and you look at it and you pick one and then you pass it to the next person, kind of like Seven Wonders. So they actually have a search option. So you pick up a deck of cards, you right click on it and press search. It will pop up all the cards so you can look at them very quickly, pick which one you want, drag it, and then put it back and pass the deck to the next person. And it all becomes second nature quicker than you think. It's great, guys. Like if you like board games, this is a must buy. Like it just hands down. Especially because those other games don't cost anything. So if you want to play Duel, you just download it. I don't know the legality of it. I don't know the licensing. I don't know how they're getting away with it. You just get it.
Wow.
So, highly recommend it.
Is it something you can play with somebody else in the room and participating? You know what I'm saying? Like we're both playing Monopoly, we're both here.
You
Or do I
can. You'd have to pass the thing. You can set
Okay.
up 2 accounts on one. We were playing with my buddy Ryan. Actually, that's why a bunch of the members in Discord this week are my friends, because they all joined Discord so we could chat on Discord while we were playing. He and his girlfriend both play, but they just each played on their own computer in the same house, just because it's easier. But you
Gotcha.
could technically pass the mouse, as it were, instead of pass the controller. Yeah, I'm genuinely impressed with what this game does. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. CJ, thank you so much for being our guest, man.
My pleasure. Yeah, love it.
Awesome. Where can our listeners follow you and any work that you do?
Gosh, I think the only place you'd see my gameplay is on Shadewick's Mixer. Yeah,
All right.
so mixer.com/Shadewick, right? There's a
Yeah,
plug for
Nice,
Chad.
yeah, nice plug.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm on with him fairly frequently, and I make him look terrible. So
Well, what's your gamer tag so we can find you?
that's Genghis Khan 91, spelled phonetically as a 4th grader would do, because that's how old I was when I made it up. For RuneScape of all things, but GANGUS space KON 91.
Nice.
And that's my gamer tag.
Awesome. Zach, anything going on with you this week you want to share before we head out of here?
Oh man, sometimes you do this, sometimes you don't. You're killing me. I'll
Well,
tell you,
I
it
just
was,
wanna leave
it was
it hanging.
super. It was super cool meeting CJ. Nice to see someone else who adores Fallen Order. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's hard.
thanks for being here, man.
That game, so
It was generally good to talk with you, man, and looking forward to playing with you online sometime in the near future. I need to get online and play some games. I need to interact with people.
Let's do it. I'm down to chat.
My wife is today worked her first day at home, like working from home, and she already is so annoyed with me. Like it's crazy. So
just hide in the basement playing video games, man.
Yeah, that sounds
Well, that's
like
what
a
I
win.
did. I actually went. I don't know if you saw my post. I gamed outside today. I actually took my laptop out and was playing outside on my deck just so that I could be away from her and not making any noise. And it was like 55 degrees out. It was great. I kind of enjoyed it.
I don't know why she'd be annoyed with you, Scott. Were you cooking in the Instant Pot again?
Oh my God, you do listen.
I do
You
listen.
do listen. I still haven't replaced that Instant Pot yet, by the way.
It's still a funny story. I had to tell my wife about it.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have shared that story because it makes me look like a supreme idiot.
No, I told my
Wow.
wife that story because it sounds like exactly something I would do.
Yeah. Pretty embarrassed. But anyway, thank you everybody out there so much for listening. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address, once again, is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zack Parkerson, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.